Hello!
Hello and welcome to
Totally
Booked
booked right now.
Okay, that
I
makes
mean,
me laugh
maybe.
every time.
I know. I love it. I love it.
Well, hello all. Today's the day. It's part 2, The House of Wind of A Court of Mist and Fury. Okay, that was weird. It's The Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, part 2, The House of Wind. I don't know how to say this.
And it's half of this part.
Right. It's part 1 of part 2.
Part
It's just going to
2.
get confusing, right? And I'm like, should I label the next part as part 3 of this book?
Oh,
Should it be like part,
probably.
you know what I mean? Ugh,
I know.
I don't know.
Or is it part 2 of The House of Wind, which is also part 2 of
right.
we know. As long as you
Part
listen in
2 of
chronological.
part 2.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, things are getting complicated around here.
Mm-hmm. Yes. About to be more so. Just
know.
wait.
Just wait. Okay. We're excited. We're always excited.
I know. So excited.
We're gonna get started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So we left off with Feyre and Rhysand having just winnowed into a cozy little townhouse in the city of Velaris after Tamlin trapped Feyre in the manor at the Spring Court, and she was rescued by Moor. Rhysand has 2 homes in this city, one for official business and this townhome that is only for him and his family. It's very quiet and calm right now, and Rhysand tells Feyre that other than Nuala and Ceridwen, which are her handmaidens, it will just be Rhysand and Feyre staying here. The house is much smaller than the Night Court residence, so Feyre thinks the only way she'll be able to escape Rhysand is by going into the city. Feyre can only imagine how desolate and horrible it must be out there since Amarantha destroyed everything everywhere. Rhysand, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Feyre.
Just judging. She hasn't even looked out the window yet. She hasn't even peeped.
She's a grump. She's a grump right now.
Yeah.
She likes to make assumptions. I know.
Yeah.
I need to be nicer to Feyre. Rhysand is about to say something else to Feyre, but is interrupted by banging on the front door, and 2 tall, powerful bodies with wings can be seen silhouetted through the frosted glass. They are calling irreverently to be let in. They're like joking around. Rhysand tells Feyre 2 things. 1, only Rhysand and Moor are able to winnow directly into this house. It is warded, shielded, and then warded some more. Only those Rhysand and now Feyre wish to enter can enter. Rhysand tells Feyre she is safe here and anywhere in the city for that matter. Velaris' walls have not been breached in 5,000 years. Wait, say what?
Oh my God. 5,000 years? This city has been protected?
She has a lot to process right now, so this does not register with her. No one with ill intent enters this city unless Rhysand allows it. Why can't Tamlin do that to the Spring Court? You know what I mean?
He's maybe not as powerful as Rhysand.
Some other stuff's going on with Velaris, I guess. But so Feyre can do whatever she wants while she's here. She can go anywhere, do anything, see anyone. Hey, that's different.
Welcome to being allowed to do what you want to do, Feyre.
Yeah.
This is hopefully the start of good things for you. Yes.
And number 2, if Feyre doesn't want to meet the 2 dudes at the door right now, she can go upstairs and get some rest. Feyre's feeling pretty depressed still, grappling with her decision to leave the Spring Court / realizing it might not be her home anymore, so she chooses to go to her room and tells Rhys to come get her when they're gone. He seems a little bummed by this. But then another voice, this time female, joins the others, all demanding, again playfully, to be let in. And I'm going to be the omnipotent narrator and just tell you, the voices are those of Cassian and Azriel, who are both Illyrian warriors, and Amren, whom Cassian calls Tiny Ancient One. She's old as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
They have matters to discuss with Rhysand. Moor also joins them. Upstairs in Feyre's room, Nuala and Ceridwen tell Feyre that those 4 are Rhysand's inner circle. Rhysand and Moor were talking about Cassian and Azriel at the Night Court when those priestesses were slaughtered. So back in part 1, and that temple was ransacked. So Feyre has heard their names before. Rhysand keeps his relationship with all of them very casual, which is unusual for a High Lord. Rhysand's words from earlier about Velaris' walls not being breached for 5,000 years finally click for Feyre, and she wants to know how this is possible. Nuala and Ceridwen say that is Rhysand's story to tell, As Feyre is falling asleep, she's thinking about how all the sounds here are so different from the Spring Court and that she may never hear those sounds again or be able to endure them again. Maybe Amarantha had won after all. Stop that right now.
Feyre. Ugh. Okay.
Like,
just deep breaths.
Never ending. And some strange new part of Feyre wonders if her never returning to the Spring Court would be a fitting punishment for Tamlin and what he has done to her. Yeah, he's going out of his mind right now.
Oh, yeah. We've seen the rage come out already. We know that he is absolutely losing it. Like, when I first read this, I wouldn't have been surprised that, like, Rhys wouldn't have got some word that, like, the Spring Court Manor is, like, demolished. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
just going to say that. I was like, there's no Spring Court to go back to, Feyre. He demolished it all.
Yep. He, in a fit of rage, just took it all down and killed a whole bunch of people for getting in his
100%.
way.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally. So Feyre wakes up 4 hours later. She actually feels kind of rested. At least she's not on the cusp of sleeping forever anymore. So that's an improvement. She'll think about what happened at the Spring Court later. Maybe. That's a hard maybe.
Just like everything else, we're going to stuff down all of those negative things that have happened, and we're just going to pretend like they didn't happen. But to be fair, this is still fresh. If she needs to take a little more time before she analyzes things or breaks things down.
I mean, like, it's literally been 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's been like a couple of days probably.
Yeah.
She kind of slept for a long time at the night court, but she was unconscious. So
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been no time at all.
Yeah, this was a tiger snooze. Yeah.
Yeah. So Feyre meets Rhys at the front door, and she's appropriately dressed for the weather in a comfy, cozy sweater and pants, not a dress in sight. Rhysand and Feyre go outside, and Feyre is awed by the surrounding city built on the rolling, steep hills. There are nice houses everywhere, paved roads, children are laughing, Fae are meandering all around. Quote, no monsters, no darkness, not a hint of fear or despair, end quote. There's a winding river that leads to the sea. There are ships sailing around, mountain ranges surround the city, and Feyre can feel magic coming from some flat-topped mountains of red stone. There are windows built into the uppermost part of the middle peak, and Rhysand tells Feyre that is his other home in Velaris, where they'll be dining tonight. It's called the House of Wind. So yeah, Velaris is a thriving city that truly hadn't been touched by Amarantha. What might Rhysand have done, sold, or bartered to achieve this? Feyre starts to get mad that this city was protected, but the rest of Prythian wasn't.
And when you say she's mad, like, she is irrationally angry. Like, she's just walking around and she is pissed that there is happiness and joy. I think that she almost feels like suffering should have been equal across all the courts. And although I can understand her point of view on this, like, she's pretty fresh. She just came from the Spring Court where they were having to, like, completely rebuild this town because all of the people of that town were either under the mountain or they were in one of those camps that has been brought up that Amarantha had. So she's like, how come there's not all this destruction? But, like, you don't know any of the history of the city yet, Feyre. So just chill. Like, there's a story behind this. There's a reason it's like this, and you're going to find out. So just pump your brakes a little bit.
Yeah. She's being ruled by her emotions. I mean, I can understand because I have been grieving before and being like, fuck everybody else that's happy or hasn't had something bad happen to them, So, I mean, I can understand that, but also, she's really not happy. And it's also like, okay, but there was a war and these people did not suffer. Like, that's nice for them.
Isn't that good? Like, aren't you glad that there is some joy left in this world after what had happened? Like, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Totally. So, poor little baby Feyre. But the reason the Velaris is still safe is because no one knows about Velaris. The city has been an extremely well-kept secret beyond the borders of these lands for millennia, thanks to spells, wards, and Rhysand's ruthless ancestors. Feyre is getting worked up and asks if Rhys even thought to offer this place as a refuge to others. He gets defensive and tells Feyre when Amarantha came, he had to make some very hard choices very quickly. Like, that is the thing I think that was more frustrating to me. Yeah, being like, this place is here and you didn't even do whatever.
Well, then it's also like, did she really think that Amarantha wouldn't have noticed of, like, all these fae that are supposed to be, like, you know what I mean? Like, setting this place up as, like, it wouldn't have worked, and then the secrecy of the place would have been, anyway.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You just, like, couldn't do that and then still protect it.
Exactly.
the bottom line. Also, I guess we have to think that they have an antagonistic relationship anyway, her and Rhysand.
Right.
So, like,
Mhm.
she's not gonna be nice to him about it and like ask
No.
nicely
Yeah.
or trust him, you know. So,
Right.
Feyre really wants to know how Velaris was saved, but Rhys says that's a conversation for another time. Typical, just like the Spring Court.
But I do think Rhys is valid and not like telling her too much yet. Like he just saved her, but there's like you just mentioned, there's like not a lot of trust between them. There's a lot of animosity between them. He's like,
Yeah.
listen, like let's go and let's get you out because I am trying to help you feel a little bit better about what's going on with you. But like
Yeah.
I don't. This is not the info dump that you need right now on this. Like let's just wait. So,
Right.
I don't know.
God, Feyre, have you ever heard of pacing? Also, yeah, I mean, and we know, like, we trust Rhys, whatever. Maybe we didn't when we first read it, but we trust him now. And like, besides, the way he's been treating Feyre this whole time, compared to Tamlin, like, he is going to tell her. It's just like we're going on a walk. Like, I can't tell you this story right now. It's long and complicated.
Well, and if he's divulging any court secrets as to like tell her how or why, like that's, I mean, they're in public. This isn't like a private conversation necessarily.
As well.
There's all these fae walking around with great hearing, you know, even though it's in his own court. Like, I don't know. So,
yeah. Totally. Feyre doesn't have the energy to push right now. She's like, whatever. I guess I'll never know. But she's not going to sit and wallow today. She's going to venture out. She asks, so what is there that was worth saving at the cost of everyone else? Like, I don't know, Feyre, innocent lives, but Rhys just responds, everything.
Literally everything.
Yeah, right. Like, it's all encompassing. Turns out Rhysand wasn't being flippant. There really is everything in Velaris. There are there are cute shops warmed by magic, fairies and high fae everywhere, and there are 4 main market squares called palaces. 2 on the southern side of the Sidra River, which is that main river, and 2 on the northern side. There's the Palace of Thread and Jewels, which sells clothing, shoes, jewelry, the Palace of Bone and Salt, and the Palace of Hoof and Leaf, which both sell all things cooking related, and then the Artist Quarter. Everything in Velaris is beautiful and vibrant, but nothing stirs inside Feyre like it used to when she saw beautiful things and thought about painting them. She is dead inside. Rhysand moves through the city with ease. He knows everyone, and they know him and appear to really like him. Feyre is being cautious and is worried about people treating her like they did in the Spring Court, crying when they see her, gawking, judging her, etc., but no one really pays any attention to her. Rhysand is keeping a respectful, cautious distance from Feyre and just pointing things out, explaining things, but as the day goes on, he gets a little quiet, and that's when they come to the Artist Quarter. No, please, not the Artist Quarter.
I think he's just like, he doesn't know what kind of reaction
like,
she's going to have to this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this could go really well or really bad, probably very quickly. So,
yeah, totes. Yeah. So it's called the Rainbow of Velaris and is what the city is known for. All of this, too, I'm having a really hard time thinking of all this stuff as, like, it feels so modern to me.
Right.
And the same with, like, even calling it a townhouse, I'm like, I'm imagining a modern townhouse that you would like walk into now, and I'm like,
I know,
please, somebody needs to like draw it or something so I can imagine it better.
I know, and this is actually how I imagined it a little bit. It almost like old London is almost kind of how I think of it. There's like old buildings, like there's the row houses that's kind of what I imagine that Rhys lives in. That's kind of what I'm thinking of with that. And then I'm also just thinking of like or older European cities just in general, that they have these like squares or these big,
like,
you know, central. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly how I. So that's it's like a crossover of all of those that I kind of imagine when I think of this. Yeah.
That's a good visual. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. So there are hundreds of galleries, supply stores, potter's compounds, sculpture gardens, and anything in between. There are even performing arts in multiple theaters. Feyre's like, wow, real artists. She's never thought of herself as an artist or anything. That's too ambitious. But that part of her, quote, where all the color and light and texture had once dwelled, there was only a filthy prison cell. Like, Feyre, I'm sorry you're depressed, but.
Oh, I know. The imagery and like all of these metaphors that she keeps using, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And
it's
I do get it.
Right. And it's always the same one. Color and light and texture. Texture and light and color. Light and color. Like, how many different ways can we say those 3 words?
Yeah.
Okay. Feyre tells Rhysand she's tired, and he's just looking at her and tells her they can come back another day. It's almost time for dinner with the inner circle. Feyre looks around at all the people admiring the sunset, shopping, living their lives in peace, and never knowing differently, and she is filled with rage again. But Rhys, right. It's like, Feyre.
Deep breaths,
and again,
Deep breaths.
It's like the rage, but you can't. Like, it's fine. You feel the rage, but what I would love is for her to feel that and then be like, that is unfair, right? All by herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
She can't do that. So Rhys helps her. He reminds her that all these people are innocent and it's not their fault they were protected. And Feyre, like, she's like, okay, right. And then she says she's tired again. So Rhys says they'll come back at night to see Velaris as it's meant to be seen. It is the City of Starlight, after all. So as they're headed back, Feyre realizes how out of shape / weak she's become. Her legs are burning as they're walking uphill, etc. And she asks more about dinner. Rhys wants Feyre to meet Amren, Mor, Cassian, and Azriel before she decides if she wants to stay here and work for Rhys. We also learned that Amren is Rhysand's second in command and Mor is his third in command. Say what? Females in position of power? Does not compute.
That's crazy. But also just still very different, even from Tamlin's court. So, yeah. I think that it was justified for her to be kind of like surprised. I think that she has only seen the Spring Court and assumes that they're all kind of run the same way. So this is big. I mean, yeah.
Right. I was just going to say, like, really all she knows of the Fae and Prythian is the Spring Court. And of course, like, Amarantha's bastardized version of everything. Like, almost doesn't even count. So she just assumes, like, everything should be the same everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a giant country. Feyre. Amren looks high Fae, but she's not. Something different prowls beneath her skin. And she's older than Velaris. So over 5,000 years old.
I've got theories. I've got a couple of theories. But we'll discuss these at a much later date.
I was going to say, I've read Throne of Glass. I have theories too.
Yeah.
Even Rhysand is kind of scared of Amren, and he's the most powerful High Lord in Prythian's history. Feyre's like, this sexy mofo is the most powerful High Lord ever? Huh. Weird. I'm not scared of him or Amren. I feel nothing.
I call bullshit on that. But we'll see what happens with her in that. Yes.
Right. Maybe it'd be a mercy to be killed by one of them. She thinks that in her mind, but Rhys hears her think that and gently but firmly grabs her face to make her look at him and says, don't you ever think that. Not for one damned minute. Then suddenly, Feyre is in Rhysand's mind. She sees herself how he sees her. She looks like absolute shit. She's super skinny. Her bones are poking out. And she just looks completely devoid of joy in life. It's giving Bella Swan in New Moon.
I know that when you put that in there, I started thinking of that scene where it's like that slow camera angle around her in the chair.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what Feyre looks like right now.
Yeah, totally. She just had her pages of just month names. That just happened to her. Yeah, and thinking about when Edward comes back and Jacob like pushes that memory into him about how Bella looked when she first showed up. So, parallels. Feyre didn't realize how bad she looked, and she gets mad at Rhys, asking if that was a trick. But no, somehow Feyre got through Rhysand's shields. How did she do that? Feyre storms off as quickly as she can on her weak little atrophied leggies. But because her shield is down again, Rhysand knows she's been in Lucian's mind before. Maybe Feyre was able to get through Rhysand's shields because she got that power from him. Feyre doesn't want his stupid power, and he can take it back. But all her powers from the High Lords are bound to her life, so if any of them are taken back, Feyre will die. Rhysand's like, I kind of like you, so I won't do that. You just kind of like her a little bit.
Maybe just smidge. Yeah.
Then Rhysand tells Feyre that those who can walk into another person's mind are called Daemati, Daimati are rare, but there are enough of them that Feyre should always be on her guard, especially now that she's seen Velaris. Without her shields up, a powerful Daimati could even make her an unwitting slave. Feyre's still stuck on the fact that Velaris was sheltered and Rhysand's pampered people were spared from the horrors of war. If Hybern attacks, the king won't even know to strike here, would he? They don't have to shield their minds or fight and bleed like the rest of Prythian. And then she's like, it was a cheap shot and childish. I'm like, you are a child, but Feyre has entered the rage portion of her stages of grief.
And I just also, again, think here that her anger and grief is just misplaced. Like she has no outlet for it, or she can't figure out where to place it. And so she's just putting it in the wrong place. And she also just can't wrap her head around the fact that an area of Prythian seems to have been whole and happy during the events of Under the Mountain. And I brought this up before, just especially compared to what little she has seen of everywhere else, and has seen people trying to heal from Amarantha, so she just can't understand why this is here.
Yeah, I mean, she did just spend, 3 months, too, at the Spring Court being like, our wedding is the only thing that's going to make people's lives better. And, like, everybody's lives are terrible. They can't even be around you because of the trauma. So, I mean, it is very valid and understandable and fair. Like, you're irrational after you've gone through, like, extreme trauma and all of it. Like, all the stuff she's gone through, like, sure, she's going to be irrational. That's just... And also, that's already who she is as a person, so... No surprises there.
Nope.
Feyre's been able to survive everything so far. Amarantha leaving Tamlin, her new body/existence. But the black hole in her chest? Maybe not. Even pre-fake breaking the treaty and being abducted by Tamlin, when she was starving and living a miserable existence, that small part of her still had hope, and now that hope is gone.
It's just overly stated how depressed she is and how she has this dark, deep hole in her chest, and nothing's ever going to fill it. She's never going to be happy again. And we kind of talked about this the last episode. She's not really doing anything. Understandably, it doesn't seem like she's getting the help that she needs. But she's not doing anything either to like kind of try to move things along or feel better. So
And I'm like, does Sarah J. Maas like know how annoying Feyre is? Like, was she writing her to be annoying, or did that just like happen on accident? I hope it's the former.
And it's very interesting because Throne of Glass came out first before this series.
I know.
And Selena / Aelin were not like this. At all.
Yeah.
So I think it is intentional. I think it's supposed to be the character arc that Feyre gets.
This is making me want to like reread, because it's Feyre's voice that annoys me. Like her, I mean, this whole book is written as Feyre. Feyre annoys the shit out of me. And so I'm like, yeah, is it just Feyre? And Sarah J. Maas is an excellent writer who totally has captured her perfectly. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know now.
Maybe that is. So, we'll see. Okay. We cut to Feyre, all glammed up, ready for dinner, refusing to let Rhysand fly her up to the House of Wind. But the House of Wind is warded, so no one can winnow in. So it's either fly or walk up 10,000 stairs, and Rhys really doesn't want to do that. A lot of banter here. A lot of reminding Feyre about the autonomy she has, just not the autonomy to walk up the stairs, because that would suck. Rhys promises he won't drop her or let her hair get messed up, etc. And he's using his wings as an extension of his arms to herd her around. Like, the image of that is so fun. Like, just get over here. So they fly up there, and as they're going up, Rhys tells Feyre as a boy he used to jump out of the House of Wind and fly around all night. His father never knew, but sometimes his mother would join him. She was wonderful. Heavy on the past tense. When they get to their destination, Feyre goes to look out at the sprawling city and the sea and realizes how large the world truly is. That's a good perspective for her to have right now.
Yes.
Rhysand wants to know what she's thinking, so he says, say what's on your mind, one thing, and I'll say one thing too. Rhys goes first and tells Feyre 3 things. 1, while under the mountain, he would sometimes dream of Velaris, but never thought he'd see it again. 2, he wishes he was the one who killed Amarantha. And 3, if war comes, it might be a long time until he gets to have another night like this. Feyre tells Rhys 5 things. 1, she must have been a fool in love to allow herself to be shown so little of the Spring Court. 2, there's a great deal of the Spring Court territory she was never allowed to see or hear about, and maybe she would have lived in ignorance forever, like some pet. 3, She was a lonely, hopeless person, and maybe she fell in love with the first thing that showed her a hint of kindness and safety. 4, maybe Tamlin knew that, not actively, but he also wanted to be that person for someone. And 5, maybe that worked for who Feyre was before, but maybe it doesn't work for who I am now. Pause for standing ovation. Look at you two, especially Feyre. That so much.
I know.
Just happened.
Especially going from just how irritated she was, like right before they went on this, and she's like she's got some acceptance going on. I highlighted this whole part, and I thought like the biggest, or maybe not the most important thing, but the thing that stuck out to me personally the most was just her talking about how she fell in love with the first person or the first thing that showed her any kindness. And I think that's really important that she recognized that.
Yes. And safety.
Yeah.
She didn't have to be the sole provider.
Right.
For her family.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So yay for Feyre, except she immediately thinks there, the words hateful and selfish and ungrateful for all Tamlin had done. God damn it. How about be selfish for once, Feyre? Also, boundaries aren't selfish. Figuring out what you want and that you've changed isn't selfish. You can't live your life for Tamlin because he was nice to you for a little bit. Okay.
I know. I think the part that like made me most irritated with this, it wasn't like the emotional response that she had, but she still views everything as so transactional. And she's thinking of really what Tamlin did financially. Like, yeah, he like helped her with stuff, but I think that she still reserves a lot of her gratitude for Tamlin towards what he did for her family.
Yeah.
Providing them money and pulling them out of poverty and kind of keeping them safe. Like she's associating all of her love for him in relationship really to that versus like anything between the two of them. And so,
yes.
I mean,
right, because
she's
also
just
what
so
did he really do for her? He like got her paints and fed her and got her
and then
clothes.
did nothing under the mountain.
Right.
Don't love that for you,
like
Feyre.
I would just love I need to read a strongly worded essay about Tamlin supporters to like understand where they're coming from. I don't get it.
Or
but I also
people
can't
who think
remember
that he
things that
needs
happened later, so
a
a redemption arc.
Yeah. And I'm like, I think he's fine.
I mean, yeah. Maybe so he can get friend zoned, but like be happy with it. I'd be okay with that, I guess.
I know. I do think he's going to pop back up more again later, but we'll just talk about that in
as it comes.
In my TED Talk theory episode where I just start rambling about all the thoughts I have on these books.
Awesome. All right. So Rhysand and Feyre go into the House of Wind, where Cassian and Azriel are waiting. Like I said, they are both Illyrian warriors who are armed and dressed casually. Cassian is an irreverent jokester, and Azriel is serious and reserved. Mor and Amren show up a few minutes later. We learn a lot of stuff this chapter about all of them, and it's all through bantery, teasingly threatening, and constantly bickering conversation over dinner. So it's like all kind of like spread out and interspersed. I have organized it for you, our wonderful listeners. So anyway, no one sits at the head of the table, and the food is simple, not formal at all. Mor is dressed very elegantly to the relief of Feyre because she felt overdressed. This is a very different vibe from the spring court. This is a family dinner, not an official court gathering. They either don't know why Feyre is here, or they don't care to hide their true selves. That's like what she's thinking. We find out that Mor is the only pure-blooded, titled person in the room. Also, of course, everyone is super duper hot. Okay,
of course they
remember. Rhysand is half Illyrian, so he might as well be a bastard according to the High Fae nobility. Illyrians are not High Fae. They're kind of a class all of their own, and they have rounded ears. The Illyrian clans live deep in the northern mountains and are really insular. They have their own hierarchy and nobility. They are extremely patriarchal and treat their females like shit. Once females become fertile, their wings are clipped so they can no longer fly. Rhysand's mother was lowborn, and she did everything she could to delay her sexual maturity because she especially loved to fly. Rhysand's father just happened to winnow into the war camp when she was about to get her wings clipped and their mating bond snapped into place, first for his dad and then for his mom after she looked at him. And he saved her by misting the guards holding her. Misting? Cutting sounds exactly like it is. Like, just imagine, like, pushing someone through a fine-toothed strainer or something.
Yeah, disintegrating them on the spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rhys's dad let his mom keep her ability to fly.
I'm really glad that you included this little nugget because I think it's very important to note that the mating bond did not snap into place just immediately.
Yeah, for
For
both of them at
both.
the same time. Yep. Yes. It's weird. It's super weird.
So weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd think it would happen to both people at the exact same time, but I guess it doesn't.
Yeah.
Rhysand's mom, I'll start calling her like Mama Rhys or something.
Mama Reese.
Okay, so Mama Rhys tried to get Papa Rhys to ban the practice of wing clipping, but he didn't want to alienate the Illyrians since he needed them to fight in the war that was about to happen. Rhys says even though they were mates, they were wrong for each other, which also contradicts previous information we have received about mates being each other's perfect match. They're equal in every way. That's like how Tamlin described them to Feyre. But we, again, did get that information from Tamlin, who maybe doesn't have the best read of people's interpersonal relationships.
Right. And I don't think that we found out in the first book that Tamlin's parents were mates because he tells Feyre that was like a mating gift. The rose garden was in the spring court from Tamlin's father to his mother. But like, because he came from a male dominated role, like very traditional roles in the spring court, like I don't know that he ever would have been allowed to see that was not a perfect match. Like I think that his mother probably followed and obeyed, so I don't know that he would have ever known otherwise, that maybe mates aren't perfect for each other necessarily. So
yeah, totally. And I think he did say something about how his mom didn't agree necessarily with how his dad treated humans.
Right.
Maybe?
Yes.
Am I making that up? I don't know. Maybe not.
Like I can't remember now, but
yeah,
sounds...
but it feels right.
Mm-hmm.
So when Rhysand turned 8, his mother took him to one of the Illyrian war camps to be trained. She wanted him to know her people's culture and keep him away from his father's influence. Rhys was not allowed to use magic to fight and got beaten to a pulp by Cassian when they first met. Training is brutal and barbaric and lasts for years. Rhysand's mother was with him so she could tutor him at night and educate him. Azriel is Rhysand's spy master and is something called a shadow singer, which, like Demati, are rare and coveted. Shadows seem to follow and move around him and whisper to him. He can hear and feel things others can't. Azriel has horribly scarred hands from burns that even immortal powers couldn't heal. Azriel was the bastard of one of the local lords and was sent to Cassian and Rhysand's camp for training once his dad and stepmom realized he was a shadow singer. Mort and Azriel have like some kind of past. They're sitting next to each other at the table. Feyre's getting a vibe. It's implied that he's attracted to her or hyper aware of her type of thing. Cassian commands Rhysand's armies and is an even lower born bastard than Azriel. Once weaned, Cassian was left to survive on his own. Feyre has never met anyone else in Prythian who had ever been desperate and hungry like she was. Like, that's probably super mind-blowing for her. Illyrian bastards are given nothing. They have to find their own shelter and food, and if they end up getting picked by a warband, they will always be low-ranking. Rhysand invited Cassian into their home, much to Mama Rhys's annoyance, but she started tutoring Cassian as well. Then, when Azriel showed up a year later, Cassian and Rhysand decided to become allies so they could gang up on Azriel. He was a new bastard, an untrained shadow singer, and couldn't even fly thanks to something. But we don't find out what. We get interrupted. So despite the boy rivalry going on, Rhys's mother had known Azriel's mother, so she also took Azriel in. The three bastards eventually realized that everyone else hated them, and they'd have a better chance if they stuck together. They were all stronger and faster than the others, even with their parentage. Oh, what do you know? It's almost like that stuff doesn't actually matter.
Imagine that.
Then the war came, and Rhysand's father split the three of them up because he was worried if they were given a legion together in the war, they might turn against him afterwards.
Which was probably smart on his part to do that. I think that he knew how powerful Rhys was, and I think he knew that he could be dethroned pretty easily, especially with those two in his corner, basically. So
sad they're split up. I also wonder too, like, there's got to be a tactical, I mean, is there, to split up the best fighters to like help other legions do a better job? I don't know enough about warfare.
Right. It does kind of make sense though. You would not want to concentrate all of your best fighters in one particular area. Yeah. So Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe he used that as like an excuse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, two things can be true.
Yes.
Rhysand and Cassian were assigned to different legions, and Azriel was Rhys's dad's personal shadow singer. Azriel spied and did his dirty work. They only saw each other on battlefields for 7 years. Then Rhys was captured. Oops, nope. That's a story for another time.
But tell me more about it. Dang it.
Tell me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Cassian and Azriel both wear gauntlets with stones in them called siphons that concentrate and focus their power in battle. Unknown where their siphons were obtained from, since only pure-blood Illyrians get siphons. Most Illyrians don't have magical gifts beyond the killing power, which is bred to give them advantage in battle. The siphons let Cassian and Azriel channel that power and change it into shields and weapons and stuff like that, rather than just incinerate things indiscriminately. Rhysand can't use siphons because he's so powerful.
I think it even says that he attempted to use them while he was in training and he broke them because he has too much power. But he also has magic, which they don't. So I think that it might have just been that combination of things. But yeah.
He channels his powers in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he says. Okay, so that's the Illyrian story. Amren is all decked out in jewelry, and Rhysand gave her another bauble that he bought for her when he and Feyre were bopping around Velaris earlier. Never try to take any of Amren's jewelry. She's like a dragon about it, hoards that shit. Feyre is very aware of the power and otherness emanating from her. Amren accepted Rhysand's offer to be his second because she was bored, basically. She's like, I've never done it before. It's kind of fun. Currently unsure how Amren obtains sustenance because she doesn't eat food, Amren tells Feyre they were both born something else and found themselves trapped in new, strange bodies. Twinsies! But wait, there's also Miriam, who was another human made into an immortal centuries ago. Although Miriam was just given a long life while every aspect of Feyre was made. Mortal soul, immortal body. Interesting that this type of thing should happen again right as all the ancient players have returned. Rhysand says, as far as he knows, Miriam and Draken are doing well. I wonder if those two will be important later.
I think so. Yeah. I highlighted that too.
I vaguely remember what happens with them later.
Yeah.
Super vaguely. When Rhys became High Lord, he appointed his 4 frenzies to his inner circle. His father's old court all left because of it. There are 3 categories of Night Court nobility. Those who hated Rhysand and willingly joined Amarantha, they're dead now. Those who hated Rhys enough to try to overthrow him and face the consequences, I am assuming that consequence was death. And those who hate Rhys but are smart enough to tolerate his rule. They make up the Court of Nightmares and live in the hewn city in the mountain. Rhys gave the city to them and pretty much leaves them to their own devices. This is the court Amarantha modeled under the mountain after. The court Rhysand and his friends are part of is the Court of Dreams. The only thing we really learn about more is that she was a dreamer in the Court of Nightmares and she got out. Then Feyre tells everyone her story. See book 1 for details. Cassian tells Feyre he'll teach her how to fight. When Feyre asks the table if they think it'll send the wrong message if people see her learning to fight with weapons, she realizes how stupid that sounds.
One of those where when it's said out loud, it's obvious how dumb it is. But I'm so glad that she came to this conclusion by herself. Like she said it and then she's like, oh, that sounded dumb.
Right.
Like immediately.
Everyone just kind of looks at her like, oh.
At least they didn't mock her for like saying that. Yeah. But I mean, still, yeah.
Yeah, they're nice. Moore gives Feyre a little pep talk since Moore has been in a similar situation to Feyre before. 1, Feyre has left the Spring Court. If that's not sending a message, then her learning to fight won't either. And 2, living for others and putting their opinions above what you want will kill you. To hell with her reputation, Feyre needs to do what she loves and what she needs. Feyre realizes Ianthe was never her friend. Maybe one day Moore can be a real friend to her, even though Feyre has nothing to offer Moore. Feyre, don't even start.
It's back to this whole transactional thing. It's that's her way of thinking. To be fair, I don't think she ever had friends, and she's coming to this realization on her own, though, that her first friend, quote unquote, Ianthe, was not what she thought she was, clearly. So
yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. It's a big realization.
Mm-hmm. It is
probably, and because she like relied on Ianthe so much too.
Right.
Feyre says she'll think about what Moore has said, and she feels a jolt of pleasant surprise through her tattoo bond with Rhys. Tattoo bond. The way everyone is treating Feyre, she wonders if they don't know what happened under the mountain. But that illusion is shattered when Cassian asks Feyre how she was able to create the bone ladder while in the worm's lair. None of them were under the mountain because Amarantha didn't know they existed, and anyone who might have told her got their minds squished. The inner circle is all clearly distraught about what Rhysand had to endure and the fact that they were kept safe by it. Feyre's like, maybe saving one place is better than saving no place. Yeah, every citizen of Velaris knows what went on the last 50 years and the cost that was paid so they can be kept safe and hidden. Maybe if they can all live through their pain, Feyre can too.
Yay, baby steps, Feyre. I'm so proud of you. These epiphanies that you're having, I think, are very necessary to get out of your funk.
Right.
I also think it's important to note that I think she does come to the realization here as well that Rhys didn't necessarily like sacrifice others in order to save Velaris, but he did have to make like that quick decision to decide what he considered like most valuable to protect. And then I was thinking about it. I'm like, gee, Feyre, that kind of sounds like how you view your family. Like you would have done anything. Like Velaris is his most important thing. Your family is your most important thing. At least you both can agree that protecting those things is
right.
the your highest priority.
Yeah, and he put the burden all on himself,
just
like she did when she went back under the mountain.
Yep.
Yes, and I think it does feel very real that she's like slowly coming to these realizations, like on her own, by the actions of others, and like seeing these things for herself and realizing that like, oh, it doesn't have to be the way that I thought it had to be or that it was.
And I actually really appreciate that she's doing this herself, because one thing that actually really annoys me in books is when a side character has to lay it all out for the main character. Like, it's almost like they don't give the main character enough credit to figure things out on their own. But at least in this, like, Feyre is doing it all by herself. She is figuring things out. So I do like that.
Yeah.
In this book a lot more. Yeah.
Feyre accepts Rhysand's offer to work with all of them. Great, because they're starting tomorrow, since the King of Hybern is definitely about to launch a war, and he wants to resurrect Jurian to do it. Say what? Also, ew, Jurian was super boring and full of himself. Why would the king want to do that? Also, how is he planning to accomplish this?
Can't wait to discuss.
Yeah. Also, it is Moore saying that Jurian was boring because she used to know him 500 years ago. Not great that the King of Hybern will hear about Feyre and know it's possible for the dead to be remade. He'll have to do something different, though, since the 7 High Lords won't all agree to help him. All the massacres that have been happening lately to the priestesses and stuff are related to this mission. They're looking for something or have found it. Oh, what do you know? It was a big deal that Jurian's eyeball ring and finger bone went missing. That damn adder has it. To get more answers, Rhysand and Feyre have to go to the prison. Feyre's like, whatever that is. I don't know, Feyre. Maybe it's a prison. And talk to someone called the Bone Carver. Feyre's roped in since she's all special, immortal body, mortal soul, and the Bone Carver may be willing to talk to her. Plus, no way in hell Amren is stepping foot inside of there. Feyre's like, sure, I'll go. How bad could it be? Bad, Feyre. Bad.
Bad. Very bad. Oh, so bad.
Rhysand and Feyre fly back to the townhouse. Going down is worse than going up, by the way. Feyre tells Rhys that she felt him through the bond again. Why was that? Their bond is a living thing, and it's shaped by Rhysand's powers and by what Feyre needed when they made the bargain. To not be dead? No. To not be alone.
I missed this the first time through, but I think that this is what also Rhys needed under the mountain, is to not be alone. So when he made that bargain, they finally had someone down there with them.
Poor little cuties.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. There's both still unsure, or Rhys is still unsure why they can sometimes feel things the other doesn't want known. Cue the heated eye contact. Feyre now understands that Rhys's whole shtick the last 50 years was an act to protect Velaris and his people. He became a monster to keep them protected, and he'll do it again, probably soon, thanks to the stupid King of Hybern. When Amarantha tricked Rhys out of his powers, she still left enough for him to tap into the mind of anyone who might know the truth. He actively controlled all their minds 24/7, 365 times 50 to forget about Velaris, Mor, Amren, Cassian, and Azriel. It was a lot of work, and he only had enough power to do it for one city, so he chose the place that was already hidden from history. Rhysand chose, and now he has to live with the consequences of knowing that all those left outside of the protected bubble had to suffer.
Just glad they're having this conversation. Feyre, stop judging so harshly. Just wait until you get the whole story. Stop being so upset. I'm glad they had this conversation. And also, that is a wild amount of power that
I know.
Had.
Crazy.
Right.
And it's like, could you just have... What if you just killed her really fast and then...
I know, you didn't want to take a couple hours off to just take care of things real quick and then...
Seriously. And so, because his powers were all focused on this, he didn't have anything left to fight Amarantha. Again, just take a break, kill her, and then everything's cool. So he became her whore. Feyre thinks it's a shame that Rhysand's sacrifice isn't known, but as long as the people who matter know, he doesn't care about the rest. Feyre goes to bed, has a nightmare. Shirtless Rhys, who has tattoos with the same pattern as Feyre's down his arm, shoulders, and across his chest, wakes her up. Feyre's fingertips are like little lit cigarettes. She has ripped and shredded her blankets with them. She runs to the bathroom and is violently ill while Rhys strokes her back and holds her hair. What a difference between what Tamlin did.
So
Rhys,
different.
Yeah. Rhys tells her to imagine her fingertips winking out like candles, but instead, Feyre throws up lava and they go out. He's like, oh, that's one way to do it. This power is from the Autumn Court. Rhysand tells Feyre about a dream he has where instead of him being raped by Amarantha, it's Cassian or Azriel. Feyre and Rhysand both did horrible things under the mountain. Thus begins a codependent... And just kidding. When Feyre wakes up, she is tucked into fresh, clean sheets. The next morning, Rhysand writes a careful request, in quotes, to visit the summer court to improve diplomatic relations, and then he and Feyre go to the prison, which is on an island in the heart of the Western Isles. Of course, the prison is a mountain. Like, what isn't inside of a mountain? Seriously. That houses the foulest, most dangerous creatures and criminals you can imagine, and was made before High Lords existed, before Prythian. Some of the inmates even remember those days, and the days when Mor's family used to rule instead of Rhysand's. So they old. Amren refuses to go into the prison because she was once a prisoner there, but not in the body she has currently.
I want to know, but I don't want to know what Amren is. I have some theories on what she is, but what she... while she was in the prison, what was going on in there, man? I want to know so bad. Yeah.
I also want to know, why was she in the prison? Just because she's scary?
I said that. I bring this up later too, but I'm like, why were you there? What'd you do?
Yeah,
I've got theories about that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rhysand and Feyre are all decked out in fighting leathers. Rhys's wings are out, and he's armed to the teeth. Feyre has never seen him armed before. This seems serious. Feyre can't force herself to go inside and has a panic attack. So, because it's under a mountain, that's scary. Rhysand takes her back to Velaris, and she doesn't get out of bed for the rest of the day. It's maybe too much too soon. You know what I mean? Hey, Feyre, let's take you under a mountain.
Hey, I know time is of the essence, but
right.
This is
again, with 6 hours notice.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to give you any time to mentally prepare for this. We're going.
Right. Seriously. So when Feyre wakes up, Amren is standing at the end of Feyre's bed and gives Feyre a small gold amulet of pearl and cloudy blue stone, saying it got Amren out of the prison, and as long as Feyre wears it, they can never keep her. Amren does not give this to Feyre lightly, and if Feyre doesn't give it back, she'll be in big trouble. Okay, round 2. Feyre and Rhys are hiking up to the prison. Rhys kind of can't believe Amren gave the amulet to Feyre. Feyre starts to talk about it, but Rhys stops her, saying the inmates can hear through the stone and they love eavesdropping and trying to get information they can exploit. Except they continue having conversations that it seems like, what? Why would you not talk about it here, but you're talking about it in the tunnels or whatever?
Yeah.
Feyre also apologizes for staying in bed all day yesterday, but it's okay, Feyre, you're here now, sweet little baby. She thinks, quote, but enough of a coward that I never would have gone without that amulet. Feyre, you think you're special? Who wants to go into a scary prison inside of a mountain with ancient, evil beings? Also, you recover from extreme trauma. I've said this a million times. People are claustrophobic for way less. Cammy, you're claustrophobic. I don't think you were tortured under a mountain.
Nope, it took nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just naturally am. It is
Right,
what it is.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Also, it's okay to be afraid of things.
Exactly. Just accept the fear. Amren, the scariest being you've ever met, doesn't even want to go in there. I think it's okay. It's okay to be afraid.
Right.
It's okay.
Like,
yeah.
You don't have to be good at everything.
Yeah.
You'd think Feyre was the first child with the way she's like, if I don't succeed.
But she was the baby.
Yeah.
But she wasn't treated like the baby in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So maybe that's not a good. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
she's got oldest sibling vibes.
Right. Yeah. So as they are hiking, we get more inner circle lore. Cassian is the best warrior Rhysand knows, and Cassian would be able to beat Rhys in hand-to-hand combat, although Rhys would make him work for it. He's pretty good. That's why Cassian leads Rhysand's armies. Azriel lived with his father and evil stepmom for 11 years, and she kept him in a cell with no window and no light.
I think that's why he didn't know how to fly.
Yeah, it's poor little baby.
Because he wasn't allowed to escape or to use his wings.
Sense.
Yeah.
He was allowed out for an hour every day and allowed to see his mother for an hour every week. Oh yeah, I guess he must have just shown up, probably. Yeah. He wasn't allowed to train or fly, and when he was 8, his 2 older legitimate brothers set him on fire, and that's where he got his scars. What the actual fuck? So messed up. His brothers were punished eventually. I wonder by who. Mor is who Rhys will call in when the armies fail and Cassian and Azriel are dead. In the meantime, Mor is Rhys's court overseer. What does she do? Oh, we don't know about her powers yet.
Not yet. And it's still vague as fuck when we do, so
Yeah, I sent you that Instagram video.
Yes.
So in the meantime, Mor is Rhysand's court overseer. She manages dynamics between the Court of Nightmares and the Court of Dreams and runs Velaris and the Hewn City. Amren is Rhys's political advisor, walking library, and henchman. She does all the dirty work. If everyone's dead and Amren is all that's left, Rhys will find a way to unleash her on the world. But kill Rhys first, please. It's going to be scary. What exactly is Amren? Something else, something worse. And if she ever gets out of that body, Cauldron, save us. Oh, look at that. We've arrived at the prison bone gates.
But no, I want to know what Amren is. Please, please, tell me.
Never know. Yeah. I know. I'm just tell me right now. I don't want to have to do this rigmarole, read 7,000 pages, find stuff out.
Too bad.
Feyre
That's what
and
we're doing.
I know. They descend into the blackness with 2 little floating lights to help them see. They hold hands the whole time. It's comforting Feyre and continue down, down, down. Feyre is very annoyed with her weak, malnourished body, needing to stop for trivial things like water. The prison guards are shadows of thought in an ancient spell. They only come out at meal times or to deal with troublemakers. Yeah, she's why is there no one here? The prison is law unto itself, and the island may even be an 8th court. The Dust Court?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe we'll find out. But it falls under Rhysand's jurisdiction, and his blood is keyed to the gates. None of the other High Lords have access to this prison. And Rhysand, even though he has access, he can't free inmates. Once they are sentenced, they belong to the prison, and it never lets them out. How did Amren get out?
Yeah.
Tell me now. It's a very serious business sentencing people here. Rhys takes it very seriously, but honestly, it would have been a great punishment for Amarantha if you ask me. Why didn't we lock her in the prison?
No, or she deserved a lot longer time of, I don't know. Maybe I've got some thoughts on this. Maybe it was because they didn't want her potentially to get back to Hybern in any way. Maybe, but
death is permanent, or is it?
Okay, but also, who sentences these inmates?
Right. Rhys said he does.
Right. But then thousands and thousands of years ago.
Right. Before High Lords, before whatever. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
How? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll probably never know. pretty easy, right? Just be like, hey, this prison, it's ancient and bad stuff happened. I'm not going to tell you, ever.
Nope.
Feyre
just bad things here.
Yeah, just bad things. Oh, speaking of bad things, Feyre can feel the scary inmates and their ancient, cruel, infinite power. How long was Amren in this place? Just a few millennia or so. Rhys also isn't sure where Amren came from. There are legends about rips in the fabric of the realms when the world was born that creatures from other worlds could walk through. But the rips closed at will, and creatures got trapped. Amren is truly one of a kind. Wow, what a comforting and happy conversation to have while traipsing through this pitch black hellscape. Also, I thought the inmates listened to what you were saying. This is what I'm talking about. Also, please read Throne of Glass for more information.
I was like, okay, I know. Like, Amren was totally some kind of world walker and she got trapped. But like what you said, how was she released? How'd she get out?
The prison keeps them forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So many questions. So they finally arrive at the bone carver's door. Feyre was prepped for this meeting with a few instructions. 1, never lie. And 2, make sure you establish up front that this is a question for a question exchange. No one really knows who or what the bone carver is. He appears as something different to everyone. And spoiler alert, he likes to carve bones.
Imagine that.
Never would have guessed that. He also carved the doors for every prisoner in the prison. I do have some logistical questions about that.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. And also that, to me, that insinuates that he was the original first prisoner.
Yeah. If you carve everybody's door.
Mm-hmm. And how are there, no longer records of this prison? And who sentenced them? And what type of beings they are? And what they did?
I mean, legally, aren't you only required to keep records for 3 years?
It's 7, but still, yeah.
Well, there you go.
I know. Anyway.
Yeah, so the bone carver appears to Feyre as a dark-haired boy with eyes of crushing blue.
I have 2 separate theories on who he is appearing to her to be, but I'm not going to tell you right now. Okay.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious. Who could it be?
I know. But one of them's obvious. The second one is very interesting. But
she goes. Yeah, okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. Rhysand has brought the calf bone that killed the worm under the mountain as a gift for the bone carver. Feyre's like, oh my God, I didn't even know he had that. The bone carver says it's been an age since something new entered the world. The bone carver is nosy as fuck. He wants to know if Feyre is afraid and where she went when she died. Did she see anyone or anything beyond? A light, a portal. Did she have a body? Yes, Feyre is afraid. When Amarantha broke her neck, Feyre heard the crack but didn't really have any pain. It was dark, but there was a thread. She yanked on it and was able to see through Rhysand's eyes. Her tiny little spirit was clinging to the thread of their bargain. There wasn't anything. Cammy is going to have an aneurysm. There wasn't.
Keep it together.
Okay. There wasn't anything or anyone else, only the bond in the darkness. And then, after the whole giving of magic sparkles, she followed the bond back to her new body. Instead of choosing to fade into the calm, quiet darkness, she chose to go home. The bone carver's like, so, just to clarify, there was no other world? Okay, that's enough out of you, Mr. Creepy. You just asked a million questions. Now it's our turn. Feyre wants to know if there's a way to resurrect someone with only a piece of their bone. Well, that depends. Was the soul preserved? Yes, it was. In a beautiful and rare ring of eyeball. Bone carver says there is no way. Phew, relief. Unless. Why would you word it like that? Lead with the unless next time.
It's like that doctor on Arrested Development that leads every single thing with or your son's not doing well. Oh my God. So he's not going to make it? He's like, oh no, he's fine. It's just right now he's having a hard time.
Yes. There's also the doctor in 30 Rock does that too. Dr. Spaceman.
Yes.
Dr. Spaceman. Okay. So unless you had the cauldron. You mean the cauldron that was depicted in that spring court mural in Tamlin's study? That's the one. Once upon a time, there was a cauldron that made the world. But of course, the wrong people got a hold of it and used it for great and terrible things. You have more theories.
Theories. Theories. Got lots of theories on this. Okay.
Can't wait for the bonus episode. Wicked things were forged with it. It got so bad that the cauldron was eventually stolen back, but it couldn't be destroyed because that would destroy all things, because it made all things. So it was hidden and forgotten. Only with that cauldron could something that was dead be reforged like that. The cauldron was hidden at the bottom of a frozen lake in Lapland. Let's fucking go. Rhys is ready and vanished a long, long time ago. Damn it. The bone carver doesn't know where it is. Dude, you could have just said that.
Oh, this is like where it was supposed to maybe be, but I don't know where it is anymore. It's
right. It's like
lost the time.
Just tell
we
me
don't know
where it currently is. Also, the 3 feet of the cauldron were broken off its base millennia ago to try to temper some of its power. That worked, but just barely. More of an annoyance, really. The feet were hidden at 3 different temples: Cesare, Sangrava, and Ithaca. Wait a minute. Weren't all those temples ransacked? If the cauldron feet have gone missing, then it's likely the cauldron is active once more and that whoever has it wants that thing function at full power, baby. After Feyre tells the bone carver, so he's like, that's all. And somehow, like, they know that there's more to say, even though it really feels like this is the end of the story.
The end.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She just, like, keeps offering more information, then he keeps telling her stuff. It's like, that was kind of weird. But after Feyre tells the bone carver there was something else, something good waiting beyond the dark when she died, or whatever you want to call it, the bone carver confirms that the King of Hybern has the cauldron. Feyre also tells the bone carver if the 3rd fairy under the mountain hadn't been Tamlin, she would have killed herself after the task was over. She knew there was no coming back from what she'd done and only decided to keep living after Amarantha killed her. She knew she hadn't finished whatever she'd been born to do. Rhys looks absolutely devastated by this confession. He doesn't want her
sad
to die
too.
or be sad.
I know. I was very sad. Not for Feyre. I was sad for Rhys.
Yeah. Rhys is the only reason I'm reading this book. Just kidding. I'm having a good time. Then the bone carver says, with the cauldron, you could also shatter the wall. It's likely the King of Hybern has been laying low for so many years because he was hunting the cauldron and resurrecting someone was the first test after the feet were reattached. The cauldron is pure power and energy, but like any magic, it can be depleted. So now it's probably resting and regaining its strength, but there may be a way to stop it. When the cauldron was made, its creator also made the Book of Breathings, which contains the spells to negate the cauldron's power or control it wholly. There's always a kill switch. Also, isn't it already like being controlled if you have it? I guess you're just hoping for the best.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you need the instruction manual too? Mm-hmm. Like, you could really seriously fuck some stuff up.
Right.
If you have a very powerful cauldron that can,
like, if you know how it works.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. But after the war, the book was split, and one half went to the Fae, and the other half went to the 6 human queens. This was more of a symbolic gesture. However, since the cauldron had already been lost for a long time and the book was considered harmless, like calls to like, so only that which was made can speak those spells and summon the book's power. Oh, hey, we know somebody who's been made. Also, I guess that's why the king wants to resurrect Jurian or whatever.
Yeah, ding, ding, ding. That's exactly why.
He needs somebody to read the book. Yeah. Okay, that does make sense. The High Lord of Summer has the Fae's half of the book, protected by blood wards keyed to Summer himself, and the queens have their half in their palace, and it has to be freely given by a mortal queen with no trickery or magic involved. Okay, great. All Rhys and Feyre have to do is reunite both halves and nullify the cauldron before it's used to break the wall. Phew. This also is giving me kind of like Sorcerer's Stone vibes, Mirror of Erised, like, only somebody that wants the book but doesn't want to use it can get the book.
I kind of made that connection too between both of those.
Right. So then I'm like, okay, so if Feyre, maybe I'm getting ahead of ourselves, but she has a piece of Summer in her, so she can do the Summer blood words. Then the King of Hybern can't do that. And then they're going to, be like, oh, queens, we're really nice people. Would you please give us the book? And would the King of Hybern be able to trick them into giving them the book? Is it worse for them to try to get the book and reunite the halves?
Right. It feels like the King of Hybern should not be able to totally use the cauldron to its full powers without this Book of Breathings. It's supposed to be what is necessary to kind of make it work. So this feels like it could lead to something bad, like by them trying to reunite it versus just trying to stop him altogether. But then I think they also feel like, well, at least if we have this book, we can nullify the cauldron's powers
Right.
when the time comes, if he really does have it and is trying to use it. So I think it's just you're kind of you're screwed either way a
Damned
little
if you
bit.
do, damned
Yeah.
if you don't.
Yeah.
Totes. Well, so it's a lot of stuff to think about. To make Feyre feel better, the bone carver tells her he's going to carve her death in the bone Rhys gave him. So nice.
How sweet of him.
Phew! They leave the prison, and Feyre tells Rhys that the bone carver appeared to her as an 8-year-old boy with dark hair and blue eyes. Rhys says the bone carver appeared to him as Jurian right before he faced Amarantha.
Bone Carver knew they were coming and what he was going to ask about, for sure. Now, this also made me question, does the Bone Carver appear different every time? So, like, if Rhys goes back another time to see the Bone Carver, is he going to look different? Or is it the same person? Or is it the same? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. I would assume he just picks, like, the most disturbing, confusing thing that he can for each individual person. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, maybe it's not totally disturbing, but, you know, like, this is the thing that's gonna gut punch you the most.
Right.
Also, I just, like, would love to know more about, like, all of these ancient creatures and their powers and, like, how they work and, like,
I know.
how does a bone carver, you know,
Yeah.
how are you
How do they
surviving down there?
survive? Yeah.
Yeah.
Twinsies.
You and me, we're just like this. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cassian, Azrael, and Moore are waiting for an after-prison report back at the townhouse. Rhys tells them the bone carver is a busybody gossip who likes to pry into other people's business far too much. Took the words right out of my mouth. Rhys fills them all in and says he considers Hybern's ransacking of the temples as an act of war. Hybern clearly has already infiltrated Prythian, and Rhys is going to infiltrate Hybern in return to either take the cauldron back or nullify it. So while they hunt for the book, they'll figure out how to get through Hybern's wards and shields. And here are the answers to some of Feyre's earlier questions about Rhysand's intentions. These objects are spelled to the individual High Lords and can only be found through their power. Who has power from all the High Lords? Feyre. Also, there's only one person who can read the Book of Breathings, someone who's been made. So, to play the devil's advocate or to just, like, I don't know, kind of be on Feyre's side for 1 second, like, this does feel very nefarious. Feels like Rhysand's just full on using her. Bucket of cold water. We wanted to know Rhysand's motives, and right now they are not, because I secretly love you, Feyre. Like, he needs her to read the book, so he taught her to read. He needs her powers for the whole, like, calls to like thing. Sure, Feyre was kept in the dark the Spring Court, is now privy to the information she wants. She can decide things, but we know Feyre's personality. If she knows she's the only person who can do a thing, she's going to sacrifice herself to do it.
Yeah.
Plus, she doesn't feel like her life is important right now. So, sure, why not? She's not being used in the same, like, passive symbol of peace way as before, but she's still being used. And if I was her, like, any trust I may have gained toward Rhys is, like, on again. Like, of course he wanted her to leave Tamlin and come work for him. She was unreachable at the Spring Court. She is a pawn.
Yeah. This point in the book, when you're finding out about all this, I completely agree with you. You're reading this and you're like, ooh, Rhys is no better than Tamlin. She's just going to be used again in all this kind of stuff. And I think that Rhys's only saving grace is, like, the fact that he has really still given her choice throughout all of it. He didn't reveal any of these plans or secrets until she already agreed to work with him. So it wasn't like he tried to manipulate her into agreeing to help him until, you know what I mean? He didn't say, like, hey, if you do all this, we could save Prythian, you could do it again, you know, kind of thing, or I need you to do all these things. And so, like, looking back, like, yes, him teaching her how to read, doing all this kind of stuff he had an ulterior motive, but I think that it was like a 50-50 split. Like, he's like, I need you to learn how to read, but, like, you should learn how to read, you know, some of that kind of stuff. So I think it's like it's a split, but it truly does call back to Rhys has said multiple times. He's like, I have my own reasons for doing things. Like, there's still a lot of it. Like, it's me. I'm still making these decisions for me and for what I think is best. And I think that he's showing here that he's not necessarily, like, afraid to use her powers, if that makes sense. Like, he wants to utilize all of them versus trying to just tamper all of them. So does she want to be, used in this way to maybe,
Right.
make things
Make a
better?
good difference. Yeah.
But like you said, we know from her personality that she's going to agree to that. She's going
Yeah.
to agree to kind of self-sacrifice if necessary. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Like she'll be choosing to be a pawn in a sense.
Right.
Versus just being like a dumb symbol of peace, like I said. And I bet like technically Rhys, I'm sure he would let her refuse if she was like, actually, no, I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. I don't think he would like force her, but we all know she would never do that. And so I
Yeah.
think he's like banking on that too. Also going back to part 1, when he gave his little speech to her
Mhm.
about war, he said it, I know you maybe more than you know yourself. So I could argue that like he knows how to manipulate her without even telling, being like, look,
Mhm.
I didn't even tell you what the mission was until you agreed to work with me. I wasn't manipulating you before, but I did give you this speech about how you do need to become a weapon and become someone Prithian listens to in order to save your
Mhm.
family.
Well, and I talked about
What
this
other
in
choice do you have?
yeah, and I talked about this in part 1 too, where I think that Rhys is in her mind a
Mm,
lot more than she is aware of, especially early on before she started shielding. So I think that
yeah.
he picked up on a lot of that stuff before she was shielding more. But I also think that his
Right.
powers are greater than the metal claws on the shield. Like, that's his way of letting you know he's there, but I think he's there
Right.
more
Yeah,
than
yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure if you're that powerful and you have that
Mhm.
gift, like, you can slip into someone's mind without them knowing. He's just causing pain, like, for fun, kind of.
Mhm. Unfortunately,
In
yes.
those situations when he was, like, still masquerading as, like, an asshole
Yes.
to
Mhm.
her, so
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's okay. I'm sure none of that's true. He's
Mhm.
just doing it to be nice. But as of now, all this stuff, this is all just a theory. Maybe Feyre can't actually track things, so better put her through a harmless, cute little test. The test will be to see if Feyre can identify an object of Rhysand's in the Weaver's trove. Moore, Cassian, and Azrael are all very against this idea. The Weaver is an ancient, wicked creature that is not to be bothered. Rhys just looks at Feyre to let her choose. It was always my choice with him these days. But is it really? What we just talked about.
I know we were
Lucky
just
for
talking about that,
Rhysand.
yeah.
I know. Right. He's like, I'm gonna let you choose. It's like, what is she's gonna be like, no, fuck you. Not gonna do this and try to stop the evil king from destroying the world. Okay. Um Lucky for Rhysand, Feyre is dead inside, so she isn't afraid of the Weaver. She's just like, yeah, whatever, bring it on. Also, does Feyre want to be emissary to the Night Court for the human realm? The human world needs to be prepared. Plus, they need to talk to the queens to get the book. They'll set up a base at Feyre's family's estate where humans might risk going to meet with Feyre to hear the voice of Prythian after 5 centuries. There's some back and forth about all of this, but Feyre's biggest concern is passing through Springcourt lands to get to the wall. Priorities, please, Feyre. What?
Like, you don't think they can fly.
Yeah. Like, and they have magic. Again, like, can we just
You know?
Um,
Ugh.
don't worry, they'll cross the wall over the ocean. Feyre goes to bed alone that night while Rhys and Co. are out somewhere. At dawn, Rhysand comes in and helps Feyre get all geared up to go to the Weavers. Time is of the essence. Once the king finds out someone is looking for the Book of Breathings, he'll start looking for it too. If he isn't already, I mean,
Right.
we would assume he's already trying to look for it. Feyre's like, you were just waiting for me to do all this stuff. Yeah, Feyre, we could have started 2 months ago, but no. Also, you need to learn how to read no matter what. But yeah, it also served my purposes. Feyre's like, whatever. Just keep me up to date on future schemes, please. Rhysand kneels in front of Feyre and helps her put on a knife harness thingy. Kneeling men. Okay.
No.
Feyre is not allowed to bring swords, bows, or arrows into the Weaver's cottage since she'll notice things that are out of place or haven't been there before. But knives are allowed because the Weaver uses knives for things. Also, Feyre can't make a sound or touch anything but the object the Weaver took from Rhys. If Rhys is correct about Feyre's powers, then Feyre and the object will have the same, shall we say, imprint. And as long as Feyre only touches the object, the Weaver won't notice her. Feyre will be invisible. The Weaver is blind, but her other senses are lethal. Another blind creature that Feyre has to fight. So, find the object and run out. Feyre's like, this actually doesn't sound that fun. And Rhys is like, oh, sure. Would you rather I lock you in the House of Wind and stuff you full of food and make you wear dresses and plan parties? Touche, douchebag.
I like snort laughed out loud when I heard that.
Also, if this object is so important to you, Rhysand, why don't you just go get it yourself? Oh, High Lords aren't supposed to interfere with her no matter what. The Weaver knows Rhys, and if he was caught, there'd be a steep price to pay. Steeper than Feyre's life? Like, okay, dude. The Weaver is a hoarder, and she has many treasures that will never be retrieved. There are laws that protect the Weaver, and also she's evil. But Feyre belongs to every court, and the Weaver doesn't know her, so it's perfect. So I'm your huntress and thief? Please remember that he's kneeling in front of her. His hands slide down to cup the backs of my knees as he said with a roguish grin, you are my salvation, Feyre. Whatever, dude. Shut up.
Whew. Feeling lots of things with this interaction right now. Lots of things. Oh my goodness. Rhys.
Woo! All right. So, Rhys winnows them to an ancient wood. It's in the no man's land heart of Prythian that divides the north and south. The sacred mountain of Under the Mountain fame is in the center of this territory. There's no High Lord here. It's survival of the fittest, and apparently the Weaver is the fittest. The Dust Court? Now, anytime there's uncontrolled land or something, or like, I'm like, oh,
Dusk?
Is that it?
Dust. I know. Personally, I don't think it's here, but I do think it's a decent theory. And it's just interesting to me still about the mountain that they that they kind of mentioned that mountain, the under the mountain where they were, had a lot of power, and it was in the center of the territory. And it's like, then why is nobody there? I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
And like,
understand
what is that?
fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just a sacred mountain because it's all alone, and people is kind of like
it's a unique
mountain that
the land.
I feel like a lot of mountains are important culturally to native groups and stuff. So despite Rhysand's attempts to trick her, Amarantha was smart enough not to mess with the creatures in this part of Prythian. Feyre's like, why don't you just get Amarantha to mess with the Weaver? But she wouldn't take the bait. Feyre's like, and we're disturbing the Weaver because... Rhys is like, I know, right? Cassian even tried to convince me not to take you last night. He probably just wants to fuck you. Wow, is this really the time?
So random. It
just
felt
like what a non sequitur. Like,
yeah.
Weird. No, but seriously, Feyre, if you wanted to sleep with Cassian to help you move on, you totes can. What does Rhys care? Feyre calls his bluff. She's like, sure, tell him to come to my room tonight.
I was like, oh, that backfired on you, Rhys. Sorry.
Yeah. Rhys plays along, but he's annoyed, and he grabs Feyre's chin and asks if she enjoyed the sight of him kneeling before her. What a dumb question. Of course we did. Who wouldn't?
Yes, please. Reenact immediately.
Apparently, anger, flirtation, and annoyance are Feyre's crutches, and Rhysand is exploiting that to distract her from what she's about to do. Must be really bad then. Nice try, Rhys. Feyre isn't falling for it. Feyre is ready to take Rhys out. She's going to tackle him or something, but shh, they're at the clearing. The Weaver's small, whitewashed cottage with a thatched roof and half-crumbling chimney is in the center. The cottage doesn't look inhabited, but Feyre hears a faint humming coming from within. Just what in the Hansel and Gretel is going on around here?
It's so ominous. Like, yeah, Hansel and Gretel, very, very coded right there. Yikes.
Feyre channels Aladdin and approaches the Cave of Wonders. I mean, the Weaver's cottage. I have jokes. As Feyre is, it doesn't like, it's like touch nothing but the lamp. Okay.
Yes.
As Feyre is sneaking up to the front door, she uses some old human skills of walking quietly like she used to do in the woods, and it feels like waking up. Also, she's thinking of herself as a predator, as a wolf. Look at you little huntress.
Go,
Feyre I was like, okay, wake up. Feyre listens at the door, and the Weaver's beautiful voice is singing a creepy-ass song about a girl who pushed her younger sister into the sea and killed her. Then that dead sister's body was found, and all her parts were used to make a vial. Jesus Christ. And I was like, how many verses does this fucking song have?
It was so long and so disturbing. Oh my God.
So this song is going on in the background the whole time Feyre's poking around this cottage. The door opens silently into a large main room with a small shut door at the back. Floor-to-ceiling shelves are stuffed with miscellaneous crap, and hanging from the rafters are chains, dead birds, clothing, jewelry. I would love to know the Weaver's villain origin story. What are your powers? Like,
and how are you still there? Why are you not a prisoner?
What is your purpose? Right, and now everybody knows about you. Like, who shows up to your creepy cottage and gets eaten by you?
Maybe children of the blessed.
Yeah. As I said it, I was like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
The Weaver is sitting with her back to Feyre, spinning on a spinning wheel. The Weaver has thick black hair. She's dressed elegantly, and from the back, she looks hot. The Weaver is spinning with something that looks like wool, but Feyre, quote, in that lingering human part of me, knew it wasn't wool. What? Why would that lingering human part of you know that? Also, you seem exactly the same as you did before you were changed. Your internal monologue has not gotten any less annoying. Your brain is exactly the same. Your body is different, but
I was like, is it just because it's a scary fairy? Like every time she's encountered one that's like definitely evil, she like gets like that prickling, like those senses or whatever. It's still annoying. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Or even like my new high face senses told me that was not wool. Like I would have appreciated that better than like stupid. Okay.
I could tell with my enhanced vision that it was not wool.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
So yeah, the Weaver is spinning some creature into thread. Ew. On the shelves around the Weaver are cones upon cones of thread of every color and texture. And there's also woven thread that was woven on the massive loom by the hearth. Like, for what purpose do you do this? She like sells her weaves at like the county fair or something.
Oh, this was
She's
your brother.
She's an artist. Feyre's like, okay, focus. Find the thing, whatever the thing is. She doesn't feel anything, and she's like, maybe this was some giant prank? He would tease me, make my body react to him. Maybe I resent Tamlin enough to have enjoyed it, too. Maybe I was as much a monster as the female spinning before me. Feyre, I hope the Weaver fucking eats you. Or spins you in a thread or whatever. Stop being so stupid.
And also, you are comparing yourself. Someone who killed two Fae, again, innocent Fae, but two, and the Weaver has killed probably thousands.
Yes, she's been alive for time immemorial, okay?
Yes.
Don't you see all of her weird
creepy
fabrics?
Stuff? Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Feyre would have continued on this train of thought forever, but then she feels it, like a tap on the shoulder. She follows the call and finds, quote, a ring of twisted strands of gold and silver, flecked with pearl and set with a stone of deepest solid blue. It's not a sapphire, and there may or may not be lines of a six-pointed star radiating across the round, opaque surface. She's like, this is it? This is what we came all the way down here to. Abu, no!
Oh my God.
That's so the last Aladdin reference, okay? All right, Feyre is gearing up to grab the ring and jet, but when she touches the handle of one of her knives, Lady Macbeth Feyre is awoken, and she starts having third task flashbacks of blood. But she shuts that down. She shuts down that human part of her. If I have to hear about Feyre being a human one more fucking time. She grabs the ring from the shelf, and the Weaver stops singing. God damn it. Okay, don't freak out. Maybe she'll start singing another creepy song. Uh-oh, the spinning wheel is slowing down too. Feyre starts tiptoeing to the door. What happened to booking it, Feyre?
I feel like speed is more important than stealth right now. Like, get out of there as quickly as possible.
Seriously. She's like, creep. I'm like, oh my God. She's 2 steps away from the door when the Weaver's hand shoots out, stops the wheel, and the door closes. It's okay. Feyre can just open it. Oh my God, there's no handle. The Weaver wants to know who is in her house. Feyre is shitting her pants, feeling fear, yay, and emotion, but she's being annoying about it. And what do you know? When faced with death, Feyre actually wants to live. Yay! Feyre tries to escape out of a window, but those also don't open. And then the Weaver turns her face toward Feyre. The Weaver has a hot bod, but her face is the stuff of nightmares, like literally a nightmare for me. Wrinkled, sagging, dry, gray skin, rotting black pits instead of eyes, no lips, just withered, deep dark lines around a hole of jagged stumps of teeth, half caved in nose. The Weaver wants to know what Feyre is. She's like, what is like all, but unlike all? Feyre throws the lit candle that was illuminating the Weaver's little workstation, and it hits the wall of woven thread. It lights all the skin fabric or whatever it is on fire. And I was like, whew, lucky that candle didn't blow out when you threw it across the room. Are you kidding me?
I laughed so hard. I was like, it's magic. It's magic.
Yeah. Don't ask questions, okay?
It was her only way to escape. Okay. It was how it had to happen that way. Yeah.
So, the Weaver is pissed, and Feyre starts to climb up the chimney. She's struggling to get up and out since her immortal strength only gets her so far. She had let them make her weak. I was like, yes, go off, queen. It's somebody else's fault, finally, not yours. Plus, it smells like carrion, burned hair, and there's like an oily sheen on the stone, like cooked fat. Also, the chimney gets skinnier at the top, so Feyre gets stuck. I bet you were freaking out. You're not liking it right now either.
No.
The Weaver? No, I wouldn't. No. The Weaver starts to crawl up after her. Like that. This is like, I'm like, get out, get out. And Feyre starts to panic and think of the worm coming toward her. Like, could we focus on the current thing trying to kill you, please? But then she gains control of herself.
She reminds me, like the Weaver, for whatever reason, I picture the girl from The Ring as what the Weaver looks like.
Yes, yeah. I can't even tell you how scary that movie was to me. My mom had to sleep in my room with me for a week after I watched
for a whole week to make sure you didn't die. Yep, me too.
Yeah,
I feel you.
Yeah, so scared. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's not think about that. So yeah, Feyre gains control of herself. She's like, stop, breathe, think.
I think Rhys was sending her those thoughts, by the way. Just as a little.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that too. You know, it's like. And even the fact that she specifically is like, they were in I was saying those words, you know, and I'm like, sure you were, Feyre. Sure.
I think it was a nudge, a little hint. A little hint on your subconscious to wake up a little bit.
Yeah.
Help you out here. So
Feyre remembers she's actually strong and a survivor and hulks her way out of the chimney, and she throws a brick into the Weaver's face. Smashes her. Feyre gets out onto the thatched roof that is actually thatched with hair, and it sticks to her and stuff because she's covered in grease. Like, fuck no. Have you ever had chapstick on and like getting a haircut and the little tiny hairs get stuck on your lip? Your whole body? No. No.
That's disgusting. Disgusting. Yeah.
Oh, so the Weaver is having a full-on Regina George tantrum when she's adding that entry to the burn book. She comes screaming out of the cottage. Feyre jumps from the roof onto an overhanging branch and runs through the trees all the way back to Rhysand, who's like, what did you do? Shut the fuck up. He winnows them away to midair above the House of Wind, and they free fall for a second before Rhys flies them into a war room where they interrupt Cassian and Amren arguing. Feyre is looking rough, obviously, and smells like barbecue, and then she throws up. Don't blame her at all. Nope. It smells like barbecue, like blah, 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 blah. I know. Also, I was like, ew. How is barbecue a word that everyone knows in this book? But whatever.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Amren magics away the vomit and all the hair and grease on Feyre, but magic will only do so much after you've had that stuff on you. You like think about it when you're like, oh, is there a bug crawling on me? And it never goes away. I feel like there's hair on me forever.
I know. I would need to be in a bleach bath for probably a week at least. To get all that off. Ew. Yeah.
Oh, so Rhys knows about Feyre's moment of blind panic and made her work through it rather than helping. Feyre realizes that this whole thing was more about seeing if she could master her panic rather than the ring or testing her ability.
You sure about that, Feyre? You sure that's why you had to go?
Yes, Cammie. She's 1,000% sure about that. Okay. But hey, now they know Feyre can use her abilities to hunt objects and track the book at the summer court and master herself. Big day. Feyre then tells Cassian that she wants him to teach her to fight and get strong. Rhysand tells Feyre that the ring was his mother's, and she gave it to the Weaver for safekeeping, so Rhys wouldn't waste it. Feyre's like, wow, cool, whatever that means. I'm going to take a bath. We know what it means. Rhys takes her back to the townhouse and says he'll train Feyre's other gifts, starting now. Try to get past my shields, Feyre. Feyre's annoyed with Rhys, just wants to try to get actually clean so she can feel her power thrumming in her veins. Anger is always the way to her power. Rhys is surprised that Ianthe didn't try to exploit Feyre's power. He's like, I'm surprised she didn't cut you open and see what it looked like inside. Eek.
Yeah, that line was
I
you were
know.
just, when you read that the first time, you're like, what? Like, seems so far off base from what the Ianthe we've seen. So,
Yeah, totally. What exactly is Rhysand's problem with Ianthe? Rhys thinks the high priestesses are a perversion of what they were promised to be, and Ianthe is the worst. The priestesses have worked their way into the Dawn, Day, and Winter courts. Their spies are everywhere, and their followers are borderline fanatics, and yet they all escaped and remained hidden during Amarantha's rule. Like, they're not all bad, but most of them are bad. Feyre tries to get through Rhysand's shields, so he'll show her why he doesn't like Ianthe, and he lets her in because she did a good attempt. When Feyre sees Ianthe sprawled out naked on Rhysand's bed in the Court of Nightmares, she recoils and tries to leave Rhysand's mind, but now he's trapped her in there. Ianthe is trying to seduce Rhys, but he's not having it. Ianthe is power-hungry and is all, our offspring could rule Prithian. Rhys considers killing her, but, like, that's a lot of paperwork. So he does break her hand, though, when she tries to touch his pee-pee.
yeah.
Ianthe says Rhys will regret this right before he uses magic to eject her bodily from the room, along with her clothes. Feyre gets out of Rhysand's mind. He's like, rule number 1, don't go into Daemati's mind unless you hold the way open. You don't want to accidentally be turned into someone's willing slave. Rule number 2, be prepared to see things you might not like. So this vision was from 100 years ago. Feyre is having a disconnect since Ianthe didn't act like that at the Spring Court. But then she remembers how Ianthe was trying to get with Lucien. Is Ianthe trying to get Tamlin to bone her now too? Feyre thinks she's going to throw up again. Oh my God, get some Tums or something.
But, like, in all honesty, like, I would have jumped to, like, is Ianthe trying to seduce Tamlin now that I'm gone? And it's all these High Lords. And I mean, Lucien is the offspring of a High Lord. So it is
right.
the power thing for sure. She is power hungry. I said it last time. She is. Just trust me.
Right. And she's trying to, then 50 years later, Amarantha had done the same thing to Rhys that Ianthe had tried to do, and this time, Rhys had to let it happen to keep his friends safe. When Feyre looks up, Rhys is gone. Feyre realizes Ianthe was trying to get her to breed little High Lords, but for what agenda?
I think
this
Ianthe
is the irony you were talking about in part 1.
And I think that Ianthe did realize, I mean, we talked about this in this first episode of this book, but Rhys had made a comment about Ianthe trying to manipulate and control Feyre's future children and, like, some of that kind of stuff, and also, like, almost trying to, like, push this union between them. So, because I think that she was interested to see what type of powers would manifest in Tamlin and Feyre's children, and what
totally.
what that could lead to. And, you know, she's a young priestess for all things considered, and she's kind of trying to find her footing in the world. So if she was able to be in the court that had the most powerful High Lords, like, that's what she's looking for. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, Feyre and Mor are having a discussion about mortal fashion trends as Feyre is dressing to visit her sisters. Obviously, it's like the next day. Mortal women dress like prudes, essentially, and their clothing isn't practical for running or fighting. Mor is fine with all of Feyre's clothing choices, unlike Ianthe. Most human women wed, bear children, and then plan their children's marriages. Some of the High Fae are the same. Mor tells Feyre that in the Court of Nightmares, females are prized and their virginities are auctioned off. Mor, I know, it's disgusting. Ever read Memoirs of a Geisha? That happens there too.
Yeah.
Mor was born with stronger gifts than anyone in her family, and she couldn't hide it because Fae can smell people's powers, apparently, like a High Lord's heir before he comes to power. Mor got her period at 17. Her power awoke, and every ruling family wanted to breed Mor's power into their bloodline. I know, it's so gross. Mor's parents were psyched and didn't care what Mor wanted. My thing, too, is, like, I mean, not like this makes it any better, but it's kind of like any other arranged marriage ever, though. You know, like political arranged marriage.
It is. And they're higher ups. And I mean, unfortunately, that's how it works and how it has worked for millennia.
Don't get me started. That fucking patriarchy and capitalism. Okay. Mor will tell Feyre the rest of the story later. It's long and awful, but Cassian helped Rhys get Mor out of the Court of Nightmares. Obviously, this was risky for both of them to do, but Cassian especially because he's a lowborn bastard, etc., etc. But to Mor, Cassian and Azriel are worth more than any other male she met in the Court of Nightmares. All that to say, Mor isn't coming to the human lands with him today. She's going to wait until the queens come. Feyre really wants to know what is up with Mor and Azriel, but she doesn't have time to ask. Feyre is all decked out with fancy braided hair, a diadem of gold flecked with lapis lazuli. Lazuli? whatever. Matching dangly earrings, gold bracelets. Feyre turns to Mor and says she wants Mor to meet her sisters one day to hear Mor's story so they can know that there is a special strength in enduring such dark trials and hardships and remaining warm and kind, still willing to trust and reach out. Feyre realizes she really needed to hear that and know that too. Good for you, Feyre, starting to realize how messed up you were the last 3-ish months, or your whole life. Feyre chooses to fly with Azriel to the mortal realm. Flying with Rhys would feel too intimate. What?
Just this was so funny. She's like, I'm flying with Azriel. Like, she's
no.
And Azriel's like,
he's like,
okay, let's go. It's so funny.
Now that Feyre is a fae, as they get closer to the wall, she can hear it crackling with power and the tang of it coats her tongue. Azriel's like, the wall makes you feel really yucky, huh? Feyre says she can see why we were deterred for all these centuries from crossing it to mess with humans. Azriel tells Feyre she'll get used to the wording and that he also doesn't really feel like he fits in anywhere. Like, Feyre has really been meeting people she can relate to lately. It's good for her.
Yeah, totally. Like, no amount of time either. Like, nothing in the Spring Court was ever making her feel better. And she wasn't interacting with anybody really. But, all of these inner circle people have really been opening up.
And I think, I feel like it's like they have also suffered trauma and know what she's going through, so they can relate to her and help her. Versus at the Spring Court, everyone was just like, trauma schmama. That's not real.
Yeah. I think the only one was like Lucian, which is why I think he was also the only one who kind of tried to fight for her. He's been through some stuff too.
And he tried, but he in no way, like, the only time he ever related to her was when he was like, by the way, Tamlin's getting the chance I never got to have, so shut up and obey, basically.
Or deal with it. That was kind of how he was like, deal with this protectivity because I see where, because he still was more on Tamlin's side with that whole situation anyway.
Totally.
So
they fly through the gap in the wall and it immediately is freezing cold compared to the spring air they just left. It's been a year since Feyre killed Andras. What the fuck? I'm so bad at saying names and set in motion a lot of events. A whole book's worth. Her family's estate is just as lovely as the last time she saw it. Feyre is really grappling with the whole, this used to be my land, these used to be my people, now I'm high fae, blah, blah, blah. Rhys and the boys are hidden while Feyre knocks on the door. The housekeeper, Mrs. Laurent, answers and is immediately suspicious. Doesn't want to let Feyre in. She can tell Feyre is different. Elaine and Nesta overrule Mrs. Laurent and Feyre is let in. She's like, she looks at me. If I did anything, she would like
kill me. Like, she's like,
kill me. Yeah. I was like, good luck, Mrs. Laurent. Good luck.
I was like, I don't know. I don't think that's going to work out for you, but
yeah.
Okay.
The inside of the house is beautiful, but it doesn't have the comfy, cozy feeling of Rhysand's homes. Feyre is warming herself at the fire and feeling like her sisters let in a wolf, a wraith. Like, do you have to be so fucking dramatic all the time?
I know. Get over. They're still your sisters.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they didn't
you
like
are
you before.
bringing like that. Yeah, bad stuff, whatever. But yeah. So, but Feyre is about to fuck up their lives a little bit. So, okay.
Yeah.
Not as much as the King of Hybern inevitably will, but still. Feyre's father is in Neva, trading with merchants from the other half of the world and attending a summit about the threat above the wall. Is that what Feyre has come to warn them about? What do you know? Nesta's still a bitch, while Elaine is like, we're so happy to see you. We thought you were dead, actually. Funny story. Feyre was dead, but then she was reborn, remade. Feyre tells them both her whole story, the threat of Hybern, and what she needs from them. Elaine is like, you want the queens to come here? I mean, honestly, great question, Elaine. Like, why can't they just go directly to the queens? Do you have
I think it's supposed to be kind of like neutral ground for them to meet on.
Yeah.
Like, but and then also, but they're still in the mortal realm, so maybe the queens will be like more receptive to like listening to them.
Right.
And I think that also it could be viewed as like an attack if they were to try to go to the mortal queens or to their castles or something. So
yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Yeah.
I know. I was thinking, I guess they can't just like go and stay at an inn across the street. Like they wouldn't be able to get a room or something. So
yeah,
maybe that's it. Ness is like, oh, hell no. Find somewhere else. I don't want them in the house or near precious, delicate Elaine. But there is nowhere else. Obviously, Nesta is worried about their reputation and standing. What if the neighbors learn they're Faye sympathizers? Plus, Elaine's wedding is coming up. Wait a minute, hold the phone. Elaine is getting married? Yeah, in 5 months, to a lord's son who has made his whole personality hating and killing the Fae. So, no Fae in the house. Thank you. Elaine interrupts, though, saying if they don't help Feyre, there won't be a wedding. We'll send the servants away and keep it super secret. Plus, their father won't be back till summer. No one will know. Feyre sacrificed a lot for us. It's time we gave something to Feyre. Holy shit. Did not know you had that cognitive ability, Elaine.
Didn't know you could put those two together. She rubbed both of her brain cells together to figure this one out. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah. We owe Feyre? Huh.
Weird.
Elaine, leaves to start getting the servants out. And Nesta tells Feyre that Elaine's fiance is kind enough. Elaine thinks he's good and she loves him like he's good, but his father sucks. He's old though, so he'll die soon. Hopefully. Their estate looks like a prison with high walls. Speaking of relationships, Feyre did all that she did for her high lord and it still didn't work out? Awkward. Well, Elaine's fiance built walls to keep the Fae out. Tamlin wanted to keep Feyre caged in to save Feyre, to protect her. Feyre thinks what happened under the mountain broke Tamlin, perhaps more than it had broken Feyre. I don't know, Feyre, you're pretty fucked up. Still are, actually.
I mean, it really messed up both of you. I think that's fair to make that, observation. However, I think you came out real bad on the other side of that whole thing.
Yeah. Tamlin was like still holding it together. He had like a purpose.
Yeah.
Tamlin was probably, hopefully, trying to stifle his drive to protect at all costs, but he just couldn't. It's just a 500-year-old dude just can't control himself. And now Feyre is at a new court. Would Nesta like to meet them?
Probably not, but she's going to. All the staff left with Elaine's orders, and they left pretty quickly. Once they all had left, Rhys, Asriel, and Cassian uninvisibled themselves, and they came inside. Cassian whistles at the surroundings, and Feyre starts to kind of spiral here because she feels guilty that Tamlin's money essentially paid for all of this new home and everything for her family, and now she's living and working with the court that killed his family. Like, she's thinking, wow, I am just so terrible. Feyre, please stop with this line of thinking.
Exhausting.
It is. So is. Feyre tells them that her father is away on the mainland at a meeting about the looming threat from Prythian. Asriel asks if the humans think it's Prythian that's the threat or if it's Hybern, and Feyre isn't sure. Her sisters said on the other side of the wall, so she assumes that they think the threat is Prythian, but why don't we just go chat and find out what all they know?
Right. It's like, why wouldn't you quote them exactly? You know what happens when you assume.
Makes an ass of you and me. Elaine and Nesta are pretty wary of the large winged males, but Feyre is, this was just a funny line. She's like, I'm proud of Elaine for not fainting. Which is like, that's hilarious.
The bar is so low.
It is. Feyre introduces everyone to each other and notes that it feels like the Bat Boys. Sorry, that's just Cassian, Asriel, and Rhys. They've reined their power in, and it seems to always be thrumming off of them, and they've dulled themselves. I imagine this is kind of similar to the type of glamour that Tamlin and Lucien used on themselves around Feyre in book 1 when she was still human. So
Totes.
They go to sit down, and they have the awkwardest of all awkward dinners. The two Illyrians can't fit their wings into the seats very well, and when Cassian sits down next to Elaine, she grips her fork tightly like she's going to use it as a weapon against him.
It's a cute little human.
They start eating, and Feyre thinks about how unflavorful all the food seems after eating the Fae food, but the Illyrians have no problem shoveling the food down. Nesta notices and asks Feyre if she's too good for human food now, but Feyre responds with, I can eat, drink, fuck, and fight just as well as I did before. Better, even.
It's like, that escalated quickly.
I know, it's like the first clapback you've ever had to Nesta in your whole life. This comment makes Cassian almost choke on his food from trying not to laugh. And before Feyre can really get riled up, she feels Rhys tugging on their bond, trying to get her to calm down. This is the bitchy Nesta we know and love coming out. Like we talked about in the last episode, like, why are you being so nice? Like, this is such a weird departure from what you used to be like.
Right.
And now it's like, oh,
back,
this
baby.
is, yep.
Yeah, like Nesta is pissed. But also Feyre could do a better job of faking it. Like, she's like, the food tasted like ash in my mouth. I'm like, really? It's not just like super bland. It tastes like ash.
Right.
Again, I guess that tracks the drama.
Rhys tells Nesta that if she ever tried the Fae food, she'd understand why this is so different. But she's just like, no, that is never happening. I am never going to Prithian.
LOL.
Nesta then rounds on Cassian, is like, what the fuck are you looking at? And he lays into her. He says, I'm looking at someone who let her youngest sister risk her life every day in the woods while she did nothing. Someone who let a 14-year-old child go out into that forest so close to the wall. Your sister died to save my people. She is willing to do so again to protect you from the war. So don't expect me to sit here with my mouth shut while you sneer at her for a choice she did not get to make and insult my people in the process. Enemies to lovers, possibly.
Never. Also, the way Cassian, like, he was like staring at her before, and it was reminded me of Tormund, Giantsbane, looking at Brienne of Tarth, being in love with her.
So funny. Elaine tries to explain that they've been brought up to be terrified of the Fae. Their own neighbor, Claire Bedor, and her family were murdered by them. Rhys is just sitting there and staring at the table, and he can't say anything. And Feyre starts to like spiral a little bit too. Azriel steps in and is like, yes, we get that this transition is hard to wrap your head around. And Feyre asks Nesta if they can just start over. There's still a lot of tension. So Elaine asks if they can really fly with their wings. Azriel and Cassian start explaining that they can, and then they also start kind of explaining the class differences between them and the High Fae, because it's obvious they don't have the pointy ears, and so they're kind of giving them some background on who they are and what they are. And Nesta asks what Feyre is then, and Rhys responds with, Feyre is whoever she chooses to be.
Yeah, and also... yeah, whoever she chooses to be. Also, despite Feyre's inner monologue, I feel like she's kind of secretly loving that she's different from her sisters now. They're just weak, pathetic humans, and she's not. She acts like she can't get over her human part of herself, but she, at the same time, acts so removed from being a human. Like the whole food thing. And she's like, they can't get over how different and other I look. I'm a stranger to them. I'm like, then why did you show up dressed the way you did? You're wearing a fucking crown. And all this jewelry. And she says in like the first chapter where she's walking around Velaris that there's mortal fashion in Velaris. So she could have like actually blended in and said, she's like, oh my God, they're acting like I'm so different when you literally look otherworldly on purpose coming to see them.
She's like reveling in the differences between them now a little bit. Like she can't stop pointing out those differences. But then it's like you said, she still is trying to like keep that human part of herself when she's in the Feylands. But now that she's here, she's like,
I'm so other. Yeah.
Yes. The crew decides to stay the night and leave in the morning. Rhys comments that they need 2 rooms that are next to each other. Their magic and face senses are dulled on this side of the wall, and he wants to be prepared. Only 2 rooms? Who is Feyre going to be rooming with?
And I was like, that reason sounds made up.
And if it is, that's okay with me. Rhys writes the letter that they're going to send to the mortal queens, asking them to come to the Archeron residence to meet and discuss the threat of Hybern, and they all go to bed. Rhys and Feyre are sharing a room. There was only one bed in there, but Rhys manifested one from his magical closet pocket. Dang it. Honestly, that one bed trope is just, it's my favorite.
It really is. But it's also like not desperate enough times right now. Like if they were in an inn, but Feyre probably just been like, I'm going to sleep on the couch. Like,
okay. Like there's room enough in there to conjure another bed. So there was room for someone to sleep on the floor for sure, too.
Yeah.
Rhys comments on how Cassian and Nesta would be a force to be reckoned with if they ever stopped fighting each other, and that Elaine shouldn't marry her betrothed for a lot of reasons, but points out that Feyre would definitely not be able to attend her own sister's wedding. Feyre tells Rhys to stop being rude about her sisters. Like, she feels like he's just judging them really harshly right now.
Yeah.
He has, have you not noticed the tension between Azriel and Moore, or how they both use Cassian as a buffer? And Rhys is like, don't bring that up. Like, for real. Please don't bring that up.
Right. It's also like, you're missing about 500 years of nuance there, sweetheart. Like, you think you can just come in for 2 weeks, be like, I understand their relationship dynamic.
Yeah. Don't you see what's going on here? I can clearly see it.
Yeah.
No, you can't. God. And Feyre tells him she is not some gossip, and she has enough to worry about in her miserable life than spreading rumors about them. Rhys genuinely wants to know if she's miserable. She doesn't really know. There's a lot going on, but
I'm just so used to saying I'm miserable. I don't know what else to do.
But context clues would point me to, yes, she is pretty miserable right now. Yeah. So, Rhys then conjures some night clothes from her, and he jokes that he didn't know what color lace he wanted to see her in that night. Oh, pig! She yells at him. She changes and notices the bed and the room are warmed, and she thanks Rhys for this. He tells her that he almost couldn't sit through that dinner. It's going to take him a long time to forgive her sisters for letting her fend for their family when she was so young. Feyre agrees somewhat, but points out that if they hadn't, he would maybe still be enslaved to Amarantha, and that they would be preparing for potentially a larger threat without the help of those in Prythian not wanting to side with Hybern. There's some joking about how she should get a day off and what her wages are as an employee of Rhysand. She knows he's probably paying her a fortune, and Rhys just randomly asks when her birthday is. Like, it's such a
out of the blue
right turn for we don't really know why. She reveals that her birthday is on winter solstice, and this is intriguing to Rhys. Brief pause. He does think it's very important that he notes the day of her birthday. And also here he asks why she didn't celebrate. See, birthdays are still celebrated even when you're immortal. Okay.
Yes. I was like, I'm so glad this is happening. Like, confirmation that Tamlin is a douche.
I know, right? Feyre tells him that she didn't feel the need to add to the current celebration. He doesn't love this response, but drops it. Before they go to sleep, they joke that they think Nesta would win in a fight against Cassian. Feyre and Rhys are out starting to train her powers in the forest, far away from her sister's home. He kind of grumbles about how cold and early it is and threatens to take her to some other areas in the night court as payback. And she's like, I don't even know where anything is. You hid the map from me, the one and only time that I've seen it. So he produces one, and as an act of faith, goes over all the different areas of his territory. She thinks back to the interrogations that Tamlin had subjected her to after her first few visits, and she realizes it's probably a good thing that Rhys did not show her those maps at that point in time, because then Tamlin, or probably worse, Ianthe, would have known more than what she would have wanted them to. Like, hindsight, she's like, oh, you were right. You should not have done this. I didn't trust you then, and I totally would have told on you. Yeah. Training starts with Feyre attempting to light a candle, then douse the flames and dry the wick. Feyre's like, can we do something physical, like fighting training? And Rhys is like, nope, fire, water, and air first. Or you could try shape-shifting. Absolutely not. No. Feyre does not want to be reminded of Tamlin, and she tells Rhys she doesn't want an audience while she's trying to do this, and he tells her to just shout down the bond if and when she accomplishes something, and she just asks, like, what? Like, yell at the eyeball on my palm? And he says, you could try rubbing it on certain body parts, and I might come faster. Sir.
Hey, that has a double meaning.
Excuse Yep, it sure does. But excuse you, Rhys. Needless to say, Feyre is not successful and is trying to use the rage that had caused her powers to manifest previously. Like we talked about, this rage seems to be the one thing that finally does start allowing her powers to come out. But that's not making anything happen either. Feyre opens her pack to get a snack when she finds a pen and paper at the bottom, with Rhys asking her if anything has happened yet because he's bored. She's like, mind your business. But no, nothing's happened. This is a magical paper that they're writing notes back and forth on, and Rhys is commenting on Cassian and Nesta still fighting back at the manor. Again, he's bored, and Feyre calls him a High Lord baby, and then he tells her, life is better when you're around, and look at how lovely your handwriting is. Oh, Rhys, you're so cute! This flusters Feyre, and she's like, oh, gosh, you're a flirt. Stop it. But while she's waiting for him to respond, she's suddenly yanked off the ground, and her mouth is covered and is told to hold still or it will snap her neck. It's the adder.
Adder!
Yep. Feyre goes limp in the adder's arms, trying to look for something to use as defense, when night explodes all around them and the adder screams. Feyre is dropped to the ground, and when she turns around, Rhys has the adder pinned to a tree with wisps of night acting as ropes, holding it in place, as well as 2 shadow spears going through its wings.
Yeah, and he has his hands in his pockets. Anytime he's using his powers like this, like always has his hands in his pockets. So casual, so hot. This is so easy for me. So relaxed. Hands in pockets.
Yep.
Shouldn't be as hot as it is. Yeah, but it is.
But it is very much so. Rhys starts asking the adder questions and starts using his mind powers on it also, for sure. And the adder reveals that King Hybern sent him to take Feyre, but he's not sure as to what purpose. The king is still in Hybern, but he is planning to move his forces soon, and that he has allies in every court. This is disturbing for both Rhys and Feyre to find out. This is not good. Azriel flies down, and before taking the adder away, Rhys warns the adder that the next time he comes, he'll kill first and not ask any questions.
Also, Azriel is like so scary.
He is.
But like in a good way.
Yes, he's like intense. He's intense. Like, you don't want to fuck with him for sure. Rhys tells Feyre that Azriel won't kill the adder, but will use it to send a message to Hybern that they'll have to do better than that if they try to hunt down members of his court. I think it's important phrasing here, in my opinion, that Rhys does fully consider Feyre part of his court. Like, I know she's working for him, but they've not had any type of conversation, but he feels like she's part of his court. Feyre realizes a couple things with this. 1, Rhys knew somebody or something was probably hunting her. 2, maybe Tamlin wasn't so wrong in his fear for her safety. And 3, Rhys used her as bait.
Right. It's fucked up.
It's so fucked up. And she's pissed by this. We're all pissed by this little revelation. And she pushes Rhys away hard, saying that he knew, and he gets in her face. And he's like, yeah, I knew that you were being hunted. Yes, I left you alone to see what would happen. But I knew that you'd be safe because I was keeping an eye on you. But she's the one who forgot how to fight. Like, he's like, yeah, the adder showed up and you did nothing to try to stop what was happening. Yeah.
First, I'd just like to say, if I was going to be used as bait, I would like to not know I was being used as bait. That would be my preferred. Like, sure, I'll find out afterwards, be angry, but like, to be sitting there waiting, that would not be fun.
Agreed.
But also, when Feyre's like, yeah, she didn't fight back, because she's like, I've forgotten my strength in my panic. Oh, really, woman who bends fork on accident? Like, what? You think an adrenaline-inducing, like, high-stress situation, her strength would just come out? That would be when she's the strongest, you know? But
right, like
she forgets about it.
Yeah, the flight or fright response is not happening. She's not fighting. Right. She's just, like, terrified. But in moments where someone is just talking to her and she's getting angry, that's when she can bend metal and that kind of stuff. So
make it make sense.
Rhys starts taunting her and winnowing just out of reach for her to physically strike him. At one point, she lunges for him and slams into a tree. Like, this is like a matador type thing. Like,
yeah, God, how annoying to try to catch someone that's like getting away from you every time. Oh my God.
And I'm laughing at it. I mean, I'm sure she's pissed, but if I was watching, I'm imagining a bird's eye view of this. I would be laughing so hard. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
seriously.
He winnows away again, and she starts thinking about how she wishes that she could winnow to right in front of him and slap the smile off of his face. When she feels time slow and curl, and she sees the darkness of him turn to smoke and feels like she can anticipate his landing. They lock eyes in this world of smoke and stars where he grins wickedly, and then she lands right in front of him in the snow and tackles him to the ground.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, finally, she's mad in this part, like, as she's getting ready to winnow, but she's mad at herself, what she'd been forced to do, what had been done to her, and what had been done to Rhys. Like, finally, not just blaming yourself.
I know.
I was like, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she has never once said what has been done to her. Like, something was done to her. It was all about
I
what
know.
she did. Her
Yeah.
blood on her hands, blah, blah, blah.
I know, instead of just accepting the fact that it was a terrible, horrible thing she was forced to do, she can still feel guilt, but just recognize it was not. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
So after she tackles him, Rhys is laughing his ass off, and Feyre is not amused, and her talons come out. She says to him, "You said I could be a weapon. Teach me to become one. Don't use me like a pawn. And if being one is part of my work for you, then I'm done. Done."
Slow clap for Feyre. Good job.
You know, way to go, girl. Finally. This makes Rhys's smile disappear, and then they're just like staring at each other while Feyre is on top of him, and she's thinking she hasn't realized how big he is. All right, just a little, just some tension going on there.
The tension is starting to tension.
Mm-hmm. He asks her how she was able to winnow. I think he's just trying to like get her thought process behind this to try to like help her figure out how to do it again.
Yeah.
Or to try maybe. But she is still very upset and refuses and says that she wants to go back. Rhys apologizes and holds out his hand for her to take. But while Feyre wonders how often he actually says that he's sorry, she still doesn't give him any real response. She asks why the King of Hybern wants her, and Rhys tells her that he's going to find out.
I mean, like, I would assume it's because she's been made, like we've been talking about for the last 14 chapters.
Not much of a leap. I definitely think that's why she is wanted. Yeah. Or to test, like, she has the combined power of the 7 High Lords. If he has
she's a made person. Yeah.
Yeah. If he's been successful in resurrecting Jurian, which is what they all think is happening right now, like, he wants to know what power she, and like, because then Jurian could have told her, and the Adder probably told the king that she's got the power of all the High Lords. I mean, yeah.
I forgot that Jurian's like technically a witness.
Yes. Yeah.
So gross.
Yeah. Rhys tells Feyre that he's sorry again with his hand outstretched and tells her that they'll go home after breakfast. Feyre tells him Velaris isn't her home, and she swears she sees hurt in his eyes as he takes them back to her sisters. Rhys wants Feyre to love Velaris like he does.
I know.
Feyre and Rhys eat breakfast with Nesta and Elaine. Azriel has left to do whatever he was going to do to the Adder already, and Cassian left when Feyre and Rhys returned. Cassian had to get one last dig in at Nesta before leaving by giving her a mocking bow, and Nesta returned with a rude gesture. Okay. This is brought up a lot more in this book just because the inner circle is a lot more like bantery and snarky with each other. But the rude gesture thing makes me think of Friends.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Every single time.
Some like giant, right. Yes.
Like, it's not the middle finger. It's some other silly aggressive.
Right. I am like, what is this gesture? It sounds complicated, you know, because she was like, I didn't even know she knew how to do that. Like, what could it be?
I know, but I think it's like that. Anyway.
It's giving the finger without actually having to give it.
Rhys and Feyre glamoured themselves and went with Nesta and Elaine into town to mail their letter to the mortal queens. They had a quick goodbye and an uneventful return to Velaris, where Rhys immediately dropped Feyre off and left to presumably check in with Azriel. He returns not even an hour later, and Feyre stood as he entered, scanning him for any sign of injury. Something tight in my chest eased when I found nothing amiss. Gee, Feyre, what an interesting reaction you just had to Rhys coming back.
So weird.
Rhys tells Feyre that they got the information that they needed, and it took Azriel less than an hour to, quote-unquote, break him, the Adder.
Yeah. Way to go for holding out, Mr. Adder. It would take me 0 time to get broken. I'd be like, don't hurt me. I'll tell you everything you want to know.
You could be like holding on to my fingernail, and I'd be like, okay. Let me tell you let me tell you everything. I'll tell you my whole life story, my deepest, darkest secrets, whatever you want to know. I'll tell you.
And then
everything.
Please just kill me like quickly and painlessly.
Yeah. That'd be great. Feyre wants to know everything, and she wants to be taken to where the Adder is being kept. Rhys tells her that he's in the Hewn City, the Court of Nightmares. No, yikes, Feyre does not want to go there, so Rhys offers to show her what he found out. Feyre is allowed into Rhys's mind, so similar to him showing her the memory of Ianthe, he's showing her what just played out. And she sees Azriel in a dungeon-like room interrogating the Adder, and she's getting a play-by-play of what's going on in front of her, and Rhys's thoughts she can also hear and understand. So he's kind of just musing internally. He's like, oh, I need to check on the Night Court, kind of remind them who's holding their leash. And God damn it, Feyre is so mad at me. But I'm also like so proud of her for winnowing. Like these are his internal thoughts as Azriel's like torturing the Adder. Okay.
It's just a happy, fun time for everybody.
It is. The Adder reveals that forces infiltrated the north 2 days ago. It's unclear if kidnapping Feyre was to get at Tamlin or Rhys, but the Adder doesn't know how the king is tracking Feyre's location. That's kind of important to note. Azriel is holding his blade, Truth Teller. And so now, again, just some internal thoughts for Rhys. He's thinking that people are mistaken when they think that Cassian is the Wild One. The icy rage in Azriel has never thawed in all the time that Rhys has known him. Rhys is also musing that maybe Azriel's shadow singer ability came while he was locked up in his father's home, that he learned to speak and understand the shadows in that darkness.
So sad.
The Adder tells them that Rhys will not be able to keep Feyre, that everyone knows that he took her from Tamlin. This has been Azriel's job lately, to get any information he can about what's going on in the Spring Court, but Tamlin has sealed all of his borders. And it even comments that Azriel's spies that are within the Spring Court have gone deaf and blind, and they're not getting any information to him. The Adder says that the King of Hybern could help Rhys keep Feyre if he works with him, but Rhys slips into the Adder's mind and sees the army that's amassing, and it's a twin to the one that he fought against 500 years ago. He finds no signs, though, of the Cauldron, Jurian, or any information on the Book of Breathings, so he leaves the Adder's mind immediately. He does not want to see or feel any of the things that the Adder did under the mountain to him, Claire, Feyre, or any of the others. This is like the first time that we're getting that real glimpse of like, it is kind of a curse. Like if you go in there, you might see things that you don't want to see. And so he's like, okay,
totally.
Got the information I wanted. I'm outie 5,000. Rhys tells Azriel to break the Adder's legs, shred its wings, and dump it on Hybern's shore. If it lives, it lives. If not, this is the message we're going to be sending.
Yeah.
When the Adder tries to beg, Rhys tells it that it's lucky that that's all that he's doing. When Feyre comes back into the present, Rhys again tries to apologize for using her as bait, and Feyre sees that him letting her into his mind at this point was a peace offering. And she tells him that she needs to write a letter. That letter is to Tamlin, and this is what that letter says. I left of my own free will. I am cared for and safe. I am grateful for all that you did for me and all that you gave. Please don't come looking for me. I'm not coming back. I know reading and writing is just very new to Feyre, but that's not very eloquent.
No. Right. You couldn't. Yeah. Also being like, let me write something that proves it's me.
I know.
Because as far as Tamlin knows, you don't know
you
how
got
to read
a
or
knife
write.
to your throat. Like exactly. Like who's making you write this? Like it anyway. Rhys is like, you sure you want to send this? But yes, she does.
Right. And she's like, perhaps this will help with the situation at the Spring Court. It absolutely will not.
Feyre's like amped up. She's like ready to fight and asks Rhys what's next. And while trying to offer her a rest day, like he's like, didn't we just talk about you needing a rest and like what your wages were and stuff? And she's like, nope, don't coddle me. I'm ready.
Yeah. All it takes is a few life or death experiences and Feyre is snapping out of it.
Rhys says, well, that's great that you're ready, but we have to wait. Azriel needs to finish up with the adder, and then he also needs to go to the mortal realm and see if he can figure out where they're keeping their half of the Book of Breathings. And it's still a few days until they'll be heading to the Summer Court to look for the Fey realm side half of the Book of Breathings as well. Feyre then decides that she wants to see the city at night. Is Rhys up for the challenge? Why, yes, Feyre darling, he is. It turns into a party. Everyone's going out.
Yeah, when she's getting ready and she talks about how Cassian and Moore are arguing about whether Cassian could fly a short distance faster than Moore could winnow. So funny.
It's so funny.
Hello.
Yeah. Amren comes into Feyre's room as Nuala and Ceridwen were helping her get ready, but they vanish as soon as Amren appears. They are afraid of her, for sure.
Yeah.
Amren comments how wraiths are so skittish, and Feyre's like, wait, I thought they were high fae. Nope, they're only half, but Amren doesn't want to know how they were conceived because wraiths are just shadow and mist, but high fae will quote-unquote stick their cocks in anything.
Yeah, seriously, like how did that happen?
I don't know.
Also, having handmaidens to help you get ready would be so sweet.
I've thought about this so many times. Still, it's missing
So
from my
awesome.
life.
Yeah, seriously.
Feyre comments how the twins are good spies, and Amren's like, well, yeah, Azriel trained them, so they're really good spies. Feyre asks if they're spying on Feyre, but Amren tells her that no, they're not. They're spying on Amren, and they have already relayed to Azriel that she's with Feyre. When Feyre goes to question this, because she's like, aren't you all part of the inner circle? Don't you trust each other? Amren's like, yeah, Azriel should be keeping tabs on everyone, though, because the Court of Dreams is founded on 3 things. Their purpose is to defend, to honor, and to cherish. It sounds like wedding vows to me, but anyway. She says that Rhys values loyalty, cunning, and compassion and looks for that in all of his leaders. And that's why some of the higher ups in his court are not even that powerful. We haven't met any of those people yet because compared to these 4 that are in his inner circle. But yeah, Azriel is just making sure that Amren is on the straight and narrow in all things, so he won't be in trouble to be spying on her. Feyre asks Amren about the tithe, and Amren's like, what tithe? What are you talking about? She says that city dwellers do pay taxes, but there's no tithe at the night court, and she does know, though, that the spring court still enforces one.
Tamlin, you son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Feyre does not want to think too heavily on this, so she decides it's a good time to return Amren's amulet to her. Amren is kind of surprised that she's returning it, and Feyre realizes that this was all just a test to see if she would give it back. Amren tells her to keep it because there's no magic associated with it, and Feyre's like, what? You tricked me! And Amren tells her, you needed something to believe that you could get out of the prison again. Feyre points out that Rhys kept looking at it, and Amren's like, duh, because he gave it to me and was likely wondering why I gave it to you. You're welcome.
Got him.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
I love the inner circle. I'm just going to say that.
Placebo. Yeah, placebo effect works every time.
Mm-hmm. The city is bustling, and Feyre admires her companions for seemingly ignoring the looming threats and just enjoying this night out together. Feyre finds the city and its citizens so beautiful and charming, and she feels at peace for the first time in months. They go to a restaurant where they're all known by name, and the owner who greets them with kisses on their cheeks, except Amren. She bows to Amren. I'm sorry. I really have to add these funny little nuggets about the inner circle because they make me laugh. It's really funny.
Yeah, they're so funny.
The food is delicious, and Feyre feels it's not only warming her tummy, but that cold, dead hole in her chest, too. The owner is talking to Rhys about some concerns with increase in prices with the potential trade routes being compromised if war is coming with Hybern, but Rhys assures her that he'll find a way to keep the costs of shipments down. The owner asks how everyone is liking their food, and Feyre thinks about the satisfaction of a hard day's work and having someone appreciate it, and this is maybe the little nudge that she needs to try to start painting again. She's just like, oh, here's this woman who enjoys her craft and wants to share it with people and is like, it's nice to have that validation that what you're doing is good. So just kind of I'm like, yay, get some
Yay.
motivation to start doing some things again.
Right. Doing something you love.
Mm-hmm. She compliments the owner that she's never had food like this, and it makes her feel awake. This makes the owner very happy and promises to bring Feyre a special dessert. We don't ever know what that is, but she promises her
Yeah.
one.
I want
Rhys is.
dessert.
I do too. Rhys is looking at Feyre fondly when she gives him a look like, what? What are you looking at? But he just kind of joins back into Moore's conversation and ignores this. Amren is then brought out a goblet of blood. Ew.
Yeah. Oh, shocker. She drinks blood. And yet, she's always given a plate of food to just push around. So
I know,
dumb. Like, why do we give her
bizarre.
a plate?
Yeah. When they leave, Moore suggests that they go out dancing after the huge meal. Asriel immediately agrees. So Cassian decides to go along as well. There's a lot of tension between those three. Feyre doesn't really want to go, and she looks for Amren to use as an excuse to leave too. But Amren's back at the restaurant getting more blood, Rhys tells her. When Feyre asks why blood, Rhys tells her he finds it an impolite question to ask of her.
I don't know, Feyre. She's otherworldly. What?
Maybe Amren doesn't even really know. She's kind of stuck in this high fae body.
Like,
I don't know. This is the only thing I can eat. I don't know. Rhys tells Feyre that he's not going dancing and offers her to walk home with him. Feyre weighs her options, but decides the stroll with Rhys is better than dancing or drinking blood with Amren.
Yeah, but she has to fight with herself about that. Because she does think consuming blood with Amren in the back of the restaurant sounded more appealing. Really? Really? Feyre?
It did not. It did not. Liar,
Yeah.
liar, pants
Walk home with Rhys.
Liar. Yeah. They stop on the bridge over the Sidra River that cuts Velaris in half, and Rhys tells Feyre that this spot has always been his favorite view of the city, looking down at the Artist Quarter. Feyre asks why his home is at the opposite end of the city, and he tells her so that he can enjoy the city when he wants, but he also still then has a quiet place to retreat to. She's like, why not just reorganize the city? Isn't that what High Lords do? Whatever they want?
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I know. It's such a weird comment.
It's so ridiculous.
Yes. But Rhys says there are a great many things that I wish to do and don't get to.
Ayo.
I wonder what that is. Tell me more, Rhys.
There. Yeah, okay.
Feyre then asks if he buys Amren jewelry because they're together. Ha! No, Feyre. Amren is a friend only, and he just appreciates the work that she does for him and always wants to stay in her good graces. Although he tried to invite her to his bed once when he was very young, but she laughed in his face. It's so funny. Feyre wants to know why he never married, and Rhys admits that he's had lovers, but no one he's wanted to share his life with. Plus, he believes that anyone would say no to him. There's a target placed on his future wife and children's backs, and it's known what happened to his own family, and he doesn't think that many are clamoring to take that risk or to simply just be hated outside of the Night Court. Feyre wants to know why Velaris and its beauty has never been revealed to the rest of the world, why Rhys allows the rest of the courts to still view him as a monster. He tells her that the Night Court used to wholly be run like the Court of Nightmares, but a long ago High Lord had a different vision for them. But he didn't want to be vulnerable during a time of change, so he sealed the Night Court borders, staged a coup, and got rid of the worst of the courtiers and predators, and built Velaris for the dreamers. He set up the city as an area for peace and trade within their territory. There are spells on the city itself to keep it hidden from outside eyes, but the secret has been passed down from generation to generation. The Court of Nightmares is still there to keep up the front for the rest of the courts of their wicked ways, and those in the Court of Nightmares don't even know that Velaris exists. Velaris will not be found on a single map, and there's no knowledge of it outside of the Night Court. Feyre asks if Rhys is worried about Asriel going into the human realm tomorrow, but Rhys is like, well, yeah, but he wouldn't like if I told him that I was worried for him. Plus, he's infiltrated much scarier places for me in the past. Feyre wants to know if Rhys knows how Asriel feels about doling out punishments like he did for the Adder, but Rhys isn't sure. Moore seems to be the only one who can get Asriel to talk about his feelings, but Rhys is not getting in the middle of that fiasco, and neither should Feyre.
Mind your business.
Mind your business, Feyre. They begin to walk again when Feyre hears music. It's the same music she heard in the cell under the mountain. It's so beautiful and unlike anything else she heard during her time there, and she realizes that Rhys sent this music to her. She asks Rhys why he did that, and he says, "Because you were breaking, and I couldn't find another way to save you." Rhys. Feyre's thinking now with that music that she saw the beauty of the night court, and this is going back to, she has that kind of vision of this beautiful, tall, high up, like kind of palace place. And Rhys tells her that he did not send that image to her. That's important. But we'll come back to that. Feyre tells Rhys, "Thank you for everything, for what you did then and now." Rhys asks, even after the Weaver and the Adder this morning, it feels like, oh my God, way to ruin a moment.
Yes,
God damn it. Rhys is smirking and grabs her in his arms to fly her back to the townhouse. In bed, Feyre is reading when a slip of paper falls out. It's the magic paper that they were corresponding on earlier, and Rhys is flirting. Oh my goodness. He's asking Feyre to tend to his wounds from when she tackled him. She tells him, "Why don't you go ahead and lick your own wounds?" Then he asks her if she'll come lick them for him. She asks him where he needs to be licked. His response is, "Wherever you want to lick me, Feyre. I'd like to start with everywhere, but I can choose if necessary."
When Jared was listening to these, he texted me like out of the blue and was like, "They're talking about licking." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. Feyre says back to him that she hopes her licking is better than his, because his was horrible under the mountain, aka when he licked her tears off. Feyre is thinking about just how much Rhys had really done to keep her alive under the mountain compared to everyone else. Duh, Feyre, but I'm so proud of you for,
like, finally, thank you.
I know, God. When Rhys responds that he was under duress and he'd be happy to prove her wrong, he's been told he's been very good at licking. Jesus, Rhys! This gets Feyre all tingly. Me too. And she responds with a simple good night. She's like, "Oh, I'm embarrassed. We got to shut down this conversation." He then tells her not to moan too loud while she dreams of him. She does not dream of Rhys, but she dreams of the Adder. And although this is a nightmare, she is able to sleep through the whole night. Turning point for sure. First encounter with the Adder where she comes out ahead, and I think it's a big step for her to finally conquering her fears and feeling a little bit better about things.
Yeah, that is a good point. And and she has been talking about death, wishing for death, being like, maybe it'd just be better if they killed me. But she just had 2 recent experiences where she realized she does not actually want to die.
Very important, yes. Cassian is training Feyre in hand-to-hand combat at the House of Wind. Feyre is exhausted and her arms are starting to shake, so Cassian comes up and gives her some pointers on punching to inflict the most damage while protecting her fingers better. Feyre is also kind of embarrassed at how uncoordinated she is on her left side, even now as a Fae, and she can't walk and punch at the same time on that side, saying that she stumbled into him more than actually hitting him.
Like, dude, Feyre, stop pissing me off. You don't have to be perfect at everything. Also, it is not that hard to fucking punch. You've been doing this for an hour?
I understand, like, if you're, like, uncoordinated or, like, dominant hand, like, your non-dominant hand is really difficult, but also I'm just kind of like, this seemed silly, which is why I included it, because it was
100%. I'm so glad you
silly.
included it. Because I'm like, I was always like, okay, don't add the thing that Feyre did that annoyed me into my summary. Just like, let that go. So when you add something, I'm like, yes.
Oh, we are talking about this.
Vindication.
Cassian tells Feyre to take a break before they move on to some core exercises to help better her stance. Feyre looks over to watch Rhys and Azriel sparring with blades. They have been going at it for an hour when Azriel had returned from the human realm after only being there for a very short period of time as well. He found some sort of barrier around the Queen's palace, and he came back to brood about what he should do about it. At some point since they had started sparring, they had taken their jackets off, and Feyre is drooling over their shirts being gone and notices that they both have the same arm sleeve tattoos that are in similar design to her bargain tattoo that she has with Rhys. Cassian tells Feyre that they receive their tattoos when they're initiated as Illyrian warriors for luck and glory on the battlefield. She internally appreciates this explanation, but she is too busy staring at their abs to comment further. Feyre has a vision of a painting she'd like to do at this very moment, titled Death on Swift Wings. Okay, eye roll.
Yeah, same. Anytime she talks about painting, but I was also like, oh my God, look at you.
But you want to paint. Okay, we're happy for that. Cassian then says that Azriel is taking it easy on Rhys because he's out of shape. And if Feyre had a fan, she would be fanning herself right now because all she could think about is like, wow, what do they eat to look like that? She somehow pulls it together and looks away to take a drink. And she thinks that maybe Rhys was sending his form of luck and glory against Amarantha by making their bargain tattoo resemble Illyrian warrior symbols. Oh, wow, I love that.
Right. I know, as soon as Cassian said that, I was like, luck and glory for Feyre.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Cassian just changes the vibes. He's like, you're staring at my friends way too much right now while they're all sweaty and fighting each other. And goes for the jugular with a question about why she wrote the letter to Tamlin saying she'll never come back. Feyre fires back with, how about why do you tease and taunt more to hide whatever you feel for her? All right, shots fired. Things are getting heated.
Yeah.
Cassian's just like, that's old news. And Feyre says, I have a feeling that's what she probably says about you. Mic drop? Maybe? Cassian is like, oh my God.
Feyre, you're new. Shut up.
No, you don't know. Okay. Cassian's like, oh my God, stop it. Get back in the ring. It is particularly funny to note here that Azriel and Rhys's fight stopped and stumbled or lost rhythm while this little back and forth is going on because
eavesdropping the whole time.
Yes, exactly. Feyre starts to think about how likely it was that Tamlin destroyed some part of the manor in a fit of rage when he read the letter, and finally admits how frightened she had always been of his outbursts.
She's about to make a bunch of progress here.
Yes, I love this part. So
yeah.
she asked Cassian if Rhys told him what she had said in the letter, and Cassian, in a roundabout way, said that he was in the know to make sure that their forces were ready if need be, like if Tamlin was going to maybe try to start a war over her. He also admits that he understands how hard this has been for her, and he's really bad at showing feelings, and he's really bad at also trying to help others with their own feelings. So truce? Are we good? Can we get back to...
I did like his apology, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was sweet. And you're like, oh, that was really nice of you.
Yeah, yeah.
Feyre agrees, and they get back to punching. This cathartic moment helps her see with clarity that, yes, she did love Tamlin once, but the peace and love and lust were gone from their relationship, and there was no going back. She admits that she willingly was blind to the temper and Tamlin's overall need for control, but she was no one's prisoner anymore. She starts this I'm fine mantra with Cassian, because I think that he can tell she's getting emotional while she's punching. And she starts thinking about the innocence and parts of her soul that she lost under the mountain. And she did all of this for a love that doesn't exist anymore. How once Tamlin's powers were back, he shoved her into a gilded cage which served his needs to protect and control her, and he couldn't see that it was slowly killing her. He was still the same protector, but now tenfold and not at all what she needed.
Oh my God, Feyre, have you been listening to our podcast?
I was like, I feel like we've discussed this in great detail. Feyre is sobbing and hitting Cassian's padded gloves over and over, and she looks down to see that she's burned through the boxing-type gloves that she was wearing herself. Her bare skin has melted everything off of them, and she looks up at Cassian. She's like, oh shit, did I just burn you? And he's like, I'm okay. You didn't hurt me. Everything's good. But Feyre finally just sobs, and she's like, I killed them. Cassian's like, I know. I know. It's okay. And then Feyre says that it should have been her. Then darkness swept in, soothing, gentle darkness, no shade, and a sweat-slick male body halted before me. Gentle fingers lifted my chin until I looked up at Rhysand's face. This is why we love romantasy, okay?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So good.
Rhys has cocooned them in his wings, and he tells Feyre that although she may always live with this grief and guilt, it is up to her how she lets it affect her. He also tells Feyre that he was the one who found his mother and sister slaughtered, and that his retribution didn't fix the hurt. So try as you might, do what you need to do. There are going to be things that are just not going to make this pain go away.
Yeah.
Feyre tells Rhys that she's sorry about his family, and Rhys tells her that he's sorry about Under the Mountain and that he couldn't save her both from dying then and from wanting to die now. He reveals that he has 2 recurring nightmares, him or his friends being Amarantha's whore, and the other is Feyre's neck snapping. Feyre doesn't know how to respond to that, so she just starts looking at Rhys's tattoos, and he comments that, like, again, this is just reiterating again, like, yeah, that the heat, the fire stuff, it's coming from the Autumn Court. We've established this, but I think just let's change the subject a little bit. Let's like talk about your powers that just manifested, okay? But this makes her think of Lucian, and she kind of she hasn't thought about him that much yet, and she kind of wonders what he's thinking in all of this. Then she asks if because Rhysand is most powerful of all the High Lords, if his powers have more sway, which he's like, maybe? I don't know. Why don't you try to conjure the darkness? I don't need proof that you know how to winnow. Like, like, okay, let's lighten the mood a little bit here. And Feyre's like, okay, but how? And at first I was like, oh my God, Kirsten, we are about to get the answer to all of our magic questions. But Rhys tells Feyre that he just needs to will it into being.
Thank you so much for explaining that to me.
Yes, we don't get an explanation for it. So, he's being a little snarky, a little more banter again happening now. So Feyre's like, oh, would you just put a shirt on? Rhys is like, oh, are you uncomfortable with me not wearing my shirt? And she responds to him that she's surprised that there's not more mirrors in this house for how much he likes to look at himself. Azriel and Cassian also find this to be hilarious. Rhys is like, there's the Feyre I adore.
It says Cassian just turned away, a hand clamped over his mouth. Such a funny image.
It was. Feyre asks Rhys again how to find the darkness, and she just starts looking inward, and he describes these different kinds of darkness. There's a soothing darkness, a restful darkness, a lover's darkness, assassin's darkness. None of it is wholly good or wholly bad. She begins to think it, and when Rhys tells her to open her eyes, she does. Darkness is everywhere except for her and Rhys. They're like standing in this little pocket of night, basically. Small glowing lights like little stars come into existence. She grabs one of the stars, and as she's fiddling with it, she feels like she's taken a deep breath for the first time in forever. As the darkness dissipates, Rhys, this is weird, very blandly tells Feyre that they'll work on training later and that she needs a bath. This time, Feyre gives him a particularly rude gesture. So now I'm thinking it's something else.
Yeah, like, do you think it's the same one every time? Like, how many vulgar gestures could there be?
I don't know. We, culturally, we have a few, but there's not that many.
Yeah.
So what distinguishes a particularly rude one from just a regular one? I don't know.
Right.
Cassian and Feyre are training again a few days later at the House of Wind courtyard with Amren as an audience. I wish that I could just read this whole part, but there's some really funny banter between Cassian and Amren. And the final little part of this comment is Amren says to Cassian, touch me, Cassian, and I will remove your favorite part, small as it might be. Feyre has been practicing both with Cassian for the physical training and with Rhys for the magical training, and is showing more progress in both areas. No word back yet, either from the summer or spring courts on the letters that they had sent out, and Azriel has been unsuccessful in finding out how to get past the human queen's barrier. Mor shows up, and Cassian is like, where did you go the other night after Rita's? Feyre went out with him again a few nights ago, but sat quietly with Asriel in their booth instead of dancing or socializing. Her and Asriel just made bets on who would be brave enough to hit on Rhys, and this game seemed to lighten Asriel's mood a bit. Rhys, however, did not accept any invitations to go home with anyone. I wonder why. But this makes Feyre wonder if he'll ever want anyone in his bed again after Amarantha.
He will.
I wonder who. Back in the present, Mor is being cagey about where she went and won't tell Cassian. And when she tells him she doesn't report to him, so he needs to get off her back, he also comments that she didn't tell Asriel where she went either. I'm going to take just like a brief pause here. Mor is very secretive about a lot of stuff. The end. Feyre interprets this not as Cassian trying to keep an eye on Mor necessarily, or like that he's pining after her, but he's actually trying to protect Asriel from hurt, I think. And that's what Feyre interprets it as well. Cassian asks why Mor and Amren are there, and Mor tells them that Rhys is coming with some news. Funny input real quick. Mor's like, Amren, you didn't tell them that Rhys was coming? And Cassian's like, what the fuck? You've been here for an hour. You didn't tell us.
Right. You've had 2 pairs of gloves this whole time?
So funny.
Duh. We're in the Rockies.
All right, so Rhys, he shows up. They've received word back from the summer court. They can go, and Rhys is going to take Feyre and Amren tomorrow. Cassian, for both personal and protective warrior reasons, thinks that he should go. But Rhys points out that the last time you visited, it didn't end well. Cassian's like, I wrecked 1 building. And they're terrified. And then Rhys goes, and they're terrified of Amren, so she's a better choice. I'm like, Cassian, what did you do to wreck a whole building at the summer
how
court?
could that have possibly happened? Yeah. One time that happened.
Just one. It's one time, and it was only 1 building, okay? Cassie is still trying to make his point, but apparently Amren alone is enough to hopefully deter any traps or like any danger for them. Because yeah, she is super scary.
Yeah. Don't fuck with Amren.
Yeah. Rhys tells her that there's a lot of treasures there, so maybe she can go and add to her hoard while they're there as well. Cassian is still whining. Rhys reminds him that he has been banned for eternity from the summer court, so he needs to get over it.
Oh, man.
Plus, Cassian needs to help Asriel in the human realm. Amren reminds Cassian as well that the High Lord of Summer owes Rhys from saving his life under the mountain. So Cassian showing up and causing trouble is not going to be the repayment that they need for all of this, okay? The summer court probably wants to see where the night court stands if there is an upcoming conflict, and Cassian, still being a little shit, wonders aloud what kind of message it's going to send to have Feyre come with Rhys to this meeting. Tamlin's going to get the message one way or another that she's not coming back after this little adventure. Feyre follows Rhys in, and she asks him if there's any more traps or if she's, does she need to kind of be prepared for anything when they leave tomorrow. And there is so much flirting and banter. It's getting a little steamy here. And Rhys's final line is that he can't wait to see what Feyre's mouth can do in the summer court for them.
Yes. I'm also just thinking is like her and Tamlin had 0 banter. There was a one time, I think, when she was like, what, like it's hard? When she caught the cereal. That was it.
Yes.
Crazy.
Rhys is going to winnow Feyre and Amren directly into the city of Adriata, maybe, in the summer court. Rhys thinks that the summer court High Lord will want to show Feyre around, and they want to use this opportunity to her to see if she can sense the Book of Breathings. They're all dressed to impress and hopefully camouflage their true intentions. Rhys has a hard time saying anything when Feyre joins them to leave. Like, she's kind of hoping he'd say something about how she looked, but he doesn't. Amren informs her that Rhys is just pissy because Cassian and Asriel apparently took all of his money in cards the night before.
But, like, what really happened?
Yeah, I don't think that's what really happened.
I feel like they had a conversation about a certain someone that just descended the stairs.
I think so, too. Rhys suddenly grabs Feyre's hand and winnows her to a beach in the summer court, and it's a drastic temperature change. The way the city is described reminds me of Greek architecture, lots of columns and brilliant white marble, and there's a sparkling turquoise sea around them, and there's tons of ships, and it's just beautiful. It sounds very, very pretty.
Yeah, I want to go to there. I kind of was imagining like Little Mermaid style, castle.
Yes.
But obviously above the water.
Yes. They are greeted by the High Lord of Summer, Tarquin, and Feyre remembers him. Not his physical characteristics necessarily, because she does remember those as well from under the mountain, but feels that piece of her that was once part of his power. There is a somewhat tension-filled exchange as Rhys introduces Amren. She makes a comment about how ugly their previous High Lord was. She's just like, oh, well, you're attractive. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Amren.
Feyre's like, oh, yeah, we're supposed to be assholes. I forgot about
that. And then introduces Feyre with no titles given. Like, he's just like, he doesn't say, this is Tarquin, High Lord of the Summer Court. Please meet Feyre. It's just, Feyre, this is Tarquin. Tarquin, this is Feyre. It's a very tactical introduction on his part, for sure. Tarquin is kind of staring at Feyre's chest, and while Feyre interprets it as him also feeling that little bit of power now within her, Rhys goes, oh yes, her breasts are rather spectacular, aren't they? Delicious as ripe apples. But Feyre snarks back, but politely, because they are in front of an audience here. She's like, I was thinking you had a fascination with my mouth.
Okay, everybody, cool it.
Oh, gosh. Like, this is bizarre to be doing in front of company, you two.
Yeah, these, like, poor, like, summer court be like, what the fuck's going on at the night court?
This is weird.
Yeah.
Rhys loves this little exchange, Feyre can tell, but he keeps it to himself. They're ushered inside for refreshments, and Tarquin introduces Cressida, the Princess of Adriata. She is somewhat overcome by Feyre's presence and tells her she's honored to meet her. Feyre's like, oh, no, don't remind me of my good deeds, please. And she just responds with like, oh, no, the honor is truly mine.
Yeah. Thank you so much for mentioning this. This is another thing that pissed me off, because I would even say, like, she doesn't even seem somewhat overcome. It was literally like the mildest, most lukewarm groveling that Cressida could have possibly done. It almost felt like, oh, I'm fine. How are you? Like, it was just like a normal greeting, although she doesn't say it to anyone else. But I was just like, Feyre, stop being dramatic. Lose it. Anyway.
They are introduced. Oh, you're welcome. They are introduced to others, and Varian, who is the Prince of Adriata and captain of the guards, keeps a close eye on Amren, like he knows that she is the largest threat. They're walking through the palace, and Feyre notices that there are no lesser fairies to be seen anywhere. Like, even the servants aren't lesser fae. They're all high fae here in the palace. They're discussing some of the upcoming events like Ninsar. Oh, Feyre just barely prevents herself from spiraling about that holiday. And they begin discussing the major cities of the summer court and what times of year they stay in these different areas. It's just kind of like summer court info. Adriata is under construction currently after Amarantha had sacked the city. Rhys makes a seemingly innocuous comment about hoping that they didn't lose anything too valuable, which causes Tarquin's advisors to tense. But he says, oh no, nothing of too much of value was lost, which we're very thankful for. I'm like, Rhys, that was the most obvious, like, trying to suss out some information that I've ever seen. Like, come on, dude.
Right. Like, why would you talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, or they'd be like, yeah, no, we didn't lose anything. The most important item is still right here, and here's the code to the door.
Here you go. Let me help you. They approach a seating area, and Tarquin tells Feyre that the view that they're looking out of is his favorite, and he asks her about what she thinks of everything that she's seen in Prythian. She's like, well, it's all beautiful, especially compared to the mortal realm. He then asks her basically if being fae is more beautiful, and she flirtingly asks him what he thinks, and he doesn't hesitate to check her out from head to toe. He tells her, yes. He said, but I also thought that you were pretty when you threw that bone at Amarantha. So it's been before. It didn't take you to be fae for me to find you beautiful or whatever. She deflects because she does not want to talk about that, but she does flirt back with him again. He's no dummy, though. He knew that she was with Tamlin, and now she's here with Rhys, so he asks her what her position is in Rhys's court.
Feyre Ianthe 2.0?
Never. But then Feyre's like, oh, whoops, we did not really discuss this part. So Rhys saves the day and cuts in that Feyre is a member of my inner circle and is my emissary to the mortal lands. Just kidding. They did talk about that, but she did not know how to answer that question. It was just her who was like, deer in the headlights. Some of Tarquin's crew asked if that's really necessary, but Rhys is like, well, with Hybern, with what they seem to be planning, I think it's in our best interest to keep the lines of communication open with the human realm. Very diplomatic response, Rhys. Very nice. The summer court doesn't seem yet to be so sure if war is coming, but Rhys reiterates this point again, and he says that Hybern's forces are already ready. Tarquin insinuates that while they'd be happy to fight against Hybern, he has no interest in another war. Feyre at first is kind of confused on what he's talking about, but that potential war he's talking about is the war over her between Rhys and Tamlin. Oh, but don't worry, Rhys tells them that is not happening.
Yeah, Feyre's like, Tamlin wouldn't do that. I wrote to him. I told him to stay away. Like, oh, well, problem solved.
Yeah, because that letter was so detailed and really would make anyone be like,
I bet
Tamlin's
not freaking out at all. And that letter doesn't fuel his fire times 1,000.
Kidding. Cressida makes a comment about how can Feyre be so sure that, and Feyre tells her to mind her business and that there are private matters on this that have been dealt with, so back off. Cressida pushes further and says, well, that's good that we don't need to return a stolen bride to her master as law commands. Feyre reiterates that she left of her own free will and no one is her master.
Feyre's just talking out of her ass. She has no idea what Tamlin's doing.
And she probably had no idea that she would legally be needed to return to her.
Absolutely not. And I'm like, doesn't that have to happen like after you get married? They're not married.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, well, he was never your master because you guys were not married. Right. So that doesn't count. Okay. It's tense still, but Tarquin plays peacekeeper and tells them that they're having a party that night. And then after that party, over the next few days while they're staying there, they can roam as they wish. Please forgive Cressida for being so protective. Rhys follows with, we all made sacrifices, and you now sit at this table with your family because of the ones that Feyre made. So you will forgive me, Tarquin, if I tell your princess that if she sends word to Tamlin, or if any of your people try to bring her to him, their lives will be forfeit. Tarquin does not like being threatened, but Rhys tells him that it's not a threat, it's a promise. It's like really quiet around the table, and Feyre's like, no wonder immortality is never dull. And this like truly finally breaks the tension between everybody. And Feyre feels a flicker of approval from Rhys with that comment.
Yes, burn the world down, Rhys.
I know. Feyre and Rhys are given conjoining rooms. I'm like, I just really want them to share. But I'm like, well, why would they get to share rooms? They think that they're not really sure what Feyre's position is in this little love triangle they kind of presume is happening right now. So,
yeah. And it's a huge palace.
Yes. Darn it.
There are 1,000 rooms, but you have to share this one.
I'm just saying, it would be nice.
I know, for sure.
Can anyone tell who I'm rooting for to get together?
No, I have no idea.
So Rhys comes in to kind of debrief everything that they just found out during that little meeting. And Rhys begrudgingly admits that he likes the leaders of the Summer Court. And he asks Feyre to snoop without pissing them off too much. Please and thank you.
Yeah. Right. And poor Tarquin, like he's young and untested. And they're just going to steal from him, betray his trust, make him look bad in front of his friends.
I know. I feel
for him.
Yeah. Rhys brings up the way that Tarquin has been looking at Feyre, and she's like, so if my methods include fucking him to find the book, what would you say? There's a lot of tension, and Rhys says, it's always your choice. And I have a feeling he probably says it like this. It's always your choice. Like so mad. And so then there's this like, well, fine. Like this moment where they're like going back and forth and their bodies are inching closer and closer. but nothing
the tension
happens.
on this whole page. I was like, oh, so good.
I love this. Yeah. Rhys knows that Feyre is riled up right now, so he's like, let's channel this rage into like, let's work on a little bit of your stuff. And he's like, how about you try to light the candle that's on this dresser? But instead of lighting it on fire, a huge rush of water knocks it off. It's like the fact that she's in the summer court, she's closer to those powers, and that's why I assume she summoned water instead of fire.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. The only thing that confuses me with that, though, is that when she's in the night court, she can conjure fire pretty easily as well, or heat.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, I don't know. But anyway, she couldn't do it here.
Maybe it's because she's all weird about Tarquin being like, I could love him. I could do whatever. And I'm like, Feyre, could you calm down?
I know. The water droplets rise off the floor and become almost little stars. And Rhys tells Feyre, this is a couple times she's conjured some
The
stars.
stars, yeah. The stars always.
Yeah. Rhys tells Feyre that she probably shouldn't show Tarquin this little trick in the bedroom, and so she sends the water towards him to drench him, but he quickly shields, and both of them end up getting soaked. And he's like, all right, good work. Keep practicing. He's like, this, okay.
He also puts his hand in his pocket again.
Yes. Feyre is thinking about the previous conversation about Tamlin going to war for her, and she tells Rhys that she would go back to Tamlin if necessary to keep Rhys from having to fight. Say this very specifically because she says that she's going to do it for Rhys.
Yeah.
Very important phrasing there.
Right.
Rhys pushes, though, and he's like, well, would you want to go back? He's still, like, not really sure how she feels about her current situation. And Feyre says that she's tired of fighting and death and especially doesn't want to see it happen because of her. Rhys is like, that does not answer my question. And she tells him that no, she would not want to go back, but she would because pain and killing are not going to end up winning her over. So she's going to stop any of that before it even can start. Rhys does not love this answer. He says he locked you up because he knew, the bastard knew what a treasure you are, that you are worth more than land or gold or jewels. He knew, and he wanted to keep you for himself. Feyre argues that Tamlin did, maybe still does, love her, and Rhys says the issue isn't whether he loved you, it's how much. Too much love can be a poison. The party that night is on a barge in the bay, and everyone is dressed very nicely. Feyre is with Tarquin, and she's finally deciding to try to make some conversation with him after she's been sending her power out for the last hour, like echolocation, to see if she gets a signal back from the book, but she hasn't felt anything. She's commenting on Tarquin's attire, because dang, Rhys didn't compliment her at all before the party started, and Feyre is looking hot, okay?
Yeah, she is. She's looking feminine and beautiful because she wants to.
I know, she's looking for some validation in that, and Rhys didn't say anything. So Feyre is reflecting that she looks pretty tonight without the weight of being soft, and she feels pretty and feminine, and in not the same way that it was associated in the spring court. She actually really loves the way that she feels looking like this. She just did not love the weight on her shoulders and the responsibilities that came with it before. She asked Tarquin how they kept Adriata from falling during Amarantha's reign, and he reveals his predecessor got their treasure trove out early on and hid it from her. Feyre decides just to ask outright if she can see his collection. Her father was a merchant, and she's interested to compare the mortal versus the Fae finery. He agrees, but she knows that she's going to be watched like a hawk. Like, this was maybe kind of a weird ask, but she's hoping that because she just outright said it instead of like searching for his trove, maybe it'll make things better. He asks her about the mortal realm, and she gives him her brief history. But she does comment that life was hard and brutal when they lost their fortune, and then just how jarring it was for their wealthy friends to welcome them back with open arms when their wealth status was retained. Without magic, without power, money has become the only thing that matters in the human realm. Tarquin wants to know how she feels about the humans on the other side of the wall if the war comes, and she admits that she's worried about her family, but not so much about the rest of the humans. And I was like, oh my God, Feyre, you sound so cold-hearted and anti-human here. Like, what the fuck?
When you said that too, I was like, Feyre's villain origin story? Is this
Maybe.
really what we're reading?
Mm.
But I also think she was talking more about the corrupt humans or like the villagers that shunned her family and then
Yeah.
welcomed her back and stuff. She probably wouldn't feel that way about innocent people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but also, all Feyre has ever really cared about is keeping her family safe, even though
Mhm.
her dad and Nesta of all fucking people doesn't deserve it. And it goes back to that conversation she had with Tamlin. Like, if she was in his position 500 years ago, she doesn't know if she would have made the same choices as Tamlin did to, like, fight against tyranny and corruption if her
Mhm.
family wasn't gonna be safe when she did that.
Right. Right. So very interesting. Just kind of uh,
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah,
conversation, and it's at least she is consistent in those
right. Because it's
beliefs,
almost like right, because Feyre, she's an interesting character, because, thinking about some other ones like her, like Katniss or Aelin or whatever, they're doing all these things because it's right.
Mhm.
They're doing it for the greater good, and I don't necessarily think Feyre like, sure, you're trying to save the world, but it's like, I don't necessarily think that's her motive. It's like,
Mm.
"My family! Oh,
Yeah.
no! The King of Hybern is
Yeah.
gonna kill them."
Right. It's all back to them. And we've talked about this so many times, but like we don't really understand why, because it's not like she has a great relationship with any of them. So
Right.
it's just very
Yeah, and, like,
is
when
it
was the
just
last time she saw her dad? And he
I know.
sucks.
And is it just because her mother's deathbed and she promised? It's like, "Oh, I've gotta fulfill
Right.
this. I've gotta make sure that my family stays safe for the rest of eternity because I promised my mom as she was dying." I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because even when Rhys tried to convince her to join his cause, it was, again, "You wanna keep your family safe? Be someone for Thane to listen to." Like, it's
Mhm.
not like, "This is the right thing to do, Feyre. We
Mhm.
can't let tyranny, corruption take over the world."
It's interesting. It's very interesting for this
Yeah.
book, for sure, in her character and her thought process and everything. Tarquin reveals that there is a lot of Fae that would be happy to get rid of the High Lords to eliminate the privileges that they get just for being High Fae. Tarquin feels like there should be some better balance. Some of the lowest position high fae have more rights than lesser fairies, and he would like to see progress on this front. But he admits that he's also confined to rule the way that generations before him have, and change takes time. Feyre is questioning her morals here. Like, she's like, damn it, I really don't want to steal from you, but I need to. And tells Tarquin that he seems like he would be easy to fall in love with, and it would
Oh,
be
yeah.
even easier to be his friend. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like, that's what you think when you're hanging out with him is like, "You'd be easy to love. I could fall in love
It's
with you." Feyre, stop! They're not
it's
tissues, okay? They're real people.
it's a weird thing to say to someone's face. I mean, unless you are really trying to, like, flirt with them, but I don't know that she is right now.
Yeah,
Maybe?
maybe
I don't know.
love doesn't mean in love, maybe it means, like, bone.
Right. I You would be easy to bone, for sure.
Yeah, you'd be
I could
easy
see
to sleep
myself
with.
doing that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could do that for sure. Um, Tarquin would probably love to jump on that train. But Feyre looks over to see Cressida in Rhys's lap. She can't admit that she's jealous, but she is totally jealous. She's jealous for a lot of reasons, but she is thinking that she's just very lonely and she's longing for the same type of connection that she's seeing played out in front of her. She feels this sharp pang of unhappiness and gets up to walk away.
Just say
Brief
too,
pause.
she's like, "Reese has, flirted with me, blah, 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 but he's never tried to seduce me."
Hmm. Are you sure? I think he
Yeah.
has. He was literally trying to get you to come lick him, like, before you guys got here, okay? Um, but she said she feels a sharp pang of unhappiness and gets up to walk away. Is that
Oh,
sharp pang of unhappiness
yeah.
her
Her
own
own?
or coming through the bond?
I missed that.
Yeah. It's probably a little bit of both. Both. I think both. Anyway, Rhys makes eye contact with her finally. It's the first time he's like done anything all night, but there's no emotion there. She doesn't care if her shields are down and if he's reading her feelings because he doesn't seem to care at all. And he slides closer to Cressida. Feyre acknowledges that at least she's finally feeling something. Like she's like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling rage, I'm feeling jealousy, I'm finally feeling some feelings. But she just cannot stand to watch Rhys flirt and she needs to get away from people. This should be a really big clue here, Feyre, that you've got some
yeah.
other feelings going on right now, but you haven't done anything about them. Tarquin offers to go with her, but she declines, and she thinks to herself that while Tarquin may be easy to fall in love with, that she is not.
Oh my God. We almost escaped. But also, like, she's so dramatic.
Yeah.
She's like looking at Rhys and Cressa. She's like, oh, I guess they're in love and they're going to get married now. Plus, you're all playing a part at this court. And like, you can play the game with Tarquin, but you can't watch it being played by Rhys. Got it.
I know. In part of me is just like, it doesn't seem like there was much of a conversation. Like, Rhys knew that she kind of had maybe some plans to try to flirt some information out of Tarquin. So if that was your plan, why wouldn't you think that Rhys would be doing something similar?
Yeah. I know. She's just jumping to conclusions.
She finds a quiet area of the barge, and she sees that Amren is with Varian and wonders if that was part of Amren's mission too, to keep him distracted. Gee, I wonder if all three of you are flirting and trying to distract one of the main people in this court this whole time.
Oh.
Anyway, when they dock and disembark, Rhys and Cressida are nowhere to be found. The end of this episode.
Woo! Hey, we did it. That was halfway through part 2.
Yeah. Yes. It's hefty. We're at 52% of this book. I checked before we recorded to see what this
killing it.
We are. We're doing so good.
Oh my stuff.
I know.
All right. Well, stay tuned for part 2 of part 2.
Yes.
Which is part 3 of A Court of Fist and Fury.
And this section was very information dump heavy. A lot of information was given here. So thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. Well, see you at the summer court next week.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.